You're listening to the VRverse, a virtual reality podcast where two friends talk all things VR. Now, let's join your hosts, the VR Realm and Dr. Oculus.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of the VRverse. Today I've got my lovely co-host Doc, who is currently trying to hide, look mysterious and shadowy. And we're joined this month by special guest Jon Hibbins from Psytec Games.
Hello.
Good to have you on. We won't do what we did last month. We'll actually let the guest introduce themselves and tell us a bit about him before we just jump straight into just talking.
You want me to introduce myself? I'm Jon Hibbins. I'm CEO and game director of Psytec Games. I speak my previous work, Windlands and Windlands 2, and we're about to release Electronauts, our latest new IP, this week on Thursday.
Was that a Freudian slip? Were you about to announce Windlands 3?
Oh, I'm not talking about the next project, but may or may not be Windlands 3. I don't think you'd have wanted me to make a Windlands 3. We did discuss it, could make it. Yeah, we decided that it was better to create a brand new IP for a lot of reasons, but mostly because we wanted to freedom in the storytelling, not be trapped to the storytelling of Windlands 2. And yeah, we'd spent a lot of time on Windlands, and it wasn't, there were things we wanted to do that weren't going to be easy within the constraints of what Windlands was. Yeah, and that, Windlands was designed to be a relatively slow-paced game, although there's action during the fights. The rest of the time, it was supposed to be quite chill and relaxed, as we found. More of a, it's hard to imagine it as this, but more of a puzzle game, keeping your flow, never hitting a bush and banging into things, steering around objects, and then always making sure that you've got the next bush in sight, and you know how you're traversing. And it's great for that. And I can still go back and play Windlands 1 today and absolutely love playing it. If you've never completed it on hard, play Windlands 1 on hard. Mostly because near the end, a lot of playtesters were struggling with the levels, so we actually sort of knocked all the difficulties down a little bit. And hard would have been what I'd really wanted to ship it, truthfully, because there are challenging jumps, and towards the end it ramps up to a larger, harder difficulty. So yeah, if you've never played Windlands 1 in hard, enjoy hard, because that's really like the game master version of it.
The way it was intended.
Yeah, the way it was intended. We had to.
Don't think I have.
So many people wouldn't have completed it.
I think I've done medium and medium, but I've never went into hard as a new.
Yeah, there's this incredible moments in hard, and you'll know when they happen, that are specifically designed to be challenging. There are more things to swing on in normal. There are more, the trap points are more often. It's just a more forgiving game. It doesn't take me long to play in hard now. I mean, I could probably do it in about an hour and a half or something. I start to end in hard because I'm quite good at the character. But no, it's an absolute beauty in hard, and it was really designed to be played in hard. But we wanted to make sure that most people could finish the game without being frustrated. And I think hard definitely has a few very challenging spots in it.
Wait, that
once covered one of the races, and it took him hours to do the race. So that was part of the reason we made those changes. But fundamentally, go play it in hard. If you own it in your library, honestly, it's a pleasure, and it's worth finishing. We did this amazing music track at the end, and it sort of flew you around the world to remember where you've been, and it's a joyous thing to do. I still enjoy doing it whenever I get credits.
I mean, it is. It's an absolute tour de force, and especially on the Quest. I was shocked at just how well it moved over to the Quest.
Yeah, a lot of the technology. Gosh, I don't know how many years ago that was now, like 10, 11, 12. I don't know how many years since it started. But a lot of the way it was written to make it performant and on the PCs at the time, which would have been like, I don't know, 70s, I'm guessing now. But, there would have been really old cards compared to the modern day cards.
Yeah.
And, we were battling against every odds that you could have. The hardware was pretty bad. The software was pretty bad. It was early stage and changing all the times. Winlands launched without 6 degrees of input at all. It barely had 1 degree of freedom. It was a DK1 game, so it's like barely had any movement. In fact, the DK1, if you remember right, just had the left, right, up and down. There wasn't any position.
You couldn't even lean. Yeah.
No, and we had keyboard or controllers were really the main input method. And then by the time we got to DK2, got a bit more leaning, and we could use the controllers to fire the hooks. But it really was center of your eye stuff. We were launch title for the PSVR 1 that didn't have input controllers. The moves weren't there at launch. It was just the DS2, so we had to have that level of input. And then eventually the touch controllers came along and various other things. But Crystal Rift, the game before it, had the same challenge. It wasn't really designed for 6 degrees, built from the ground up for 6 degrees of freedom. But of course, time is a wonderful thing. 6 degrees of freedom was a dream for the Winlands series because you could and the hooks and get all the feelings for the haptics and gripping and all the rest of it. The bow eventually Winlands 2. So all worked out really well. But yeah, definitely not built with it in mind. We've upgraded it over.
I remember the first time I actually met you in person. Well, the one time I met you in person was EGX Res when you had Winlands 2 there.
Yeah, proud moment. Stood there with all my friends and colleagues, showing off what we're very proud of. It was a wonderful thing. Yeah, I think
I wasn't there then.
Yeah, it was a good year. Apart from, I think we were in what they call the greenhouse, and as you can imagine, as the heat of the day started rising, and the PCs under the desks continued to pump out heat. The afternoon was pretty much a sauna. But it's an amazing privilege to be able to demo. We've done demos. Res, which I've met you at, and it's wonderful to be able to do that and show people and speak to people that come up and speak to you face to face and ask questions, especially fans. But everybody really is awesome in the VR industry, so it's wonderful to speak to people. But we've shown at the main EGX multiple times now. We showed Winlands 1 when Sony first announced PlayStation, and then Crystal Rift when the first Vive Pre was available. A lot of demoing at shows, and then globally. In fact, we've just done two events in Palo Alto because we were out there for Connect this week. So we did one event in the middle of Palo Alto just before Connect, so that was a networking opportunity for people to come and play the game, but also to chat with people, gaming on various other people in the industry as well. Great to catch up. I'm sure you'll recognise many of the names, but I won't spiel off 70 people's names. But yeah, there were lots of people in the room, and that's epic. A bit of pinball, showed as many people as we could through ours to let them see the game. And then later on in the week, on the Thursday, which is only a few days ago now, but the Thursday we went to Valley VR.
Yeah. They did the robot fighting demo and stuff, right?
Stood there next to Rec with an utter amusement as it lunges out towards the crowd. I reckon I could take it. But no, it's. I'm sure it's not simple. Probably got a mean right hook. But no, it was amazing to watch robot being controlled by VR. Little mini Titan, I wrote on Twitter. Little mini Titan in training, trying to get into the next Titan. I was on their plan. Put themselves next to us and try and get them kaiju attack us. So that was fun though, because we put through a whole bunch of people through the game. Some people that knew of Winlands or Electronauts, so that's really exciting to them to get their first view and then never heard of either. We're able to put through and thanks.
So did you just have Titanals there, or did you have Winlands there as well, or did you just?
No, just Titanals. I think we're just promoting Titanals at the moment. So showing Titanals, it's quite a lot to demo actually. It's like you need a lot more people than you imagine. If you're doing 4 days of EGX and you've got a 4 booth, you need 4 people permanently on it, probably 1 or 2 people greeting people off the end of the queue to say how did it go and offboard people well. You need the opposite at the front end, 1 or 2 people managing the queue and onboarding. So you've sort of got minimum of 6 to 8 people constantly on the stand. And then the event runs for 8 hours. There's no time for lunch because everybody, it's like, and then you've got 4 days. It's utterly exhausting. And generally, I like to make sure there's people, Yes, and that you can get about 12 tickets from the event organizer. So I typically, some people will work a day and get a ticket for the week or whatever, and some people just brutally love it. I mean, I've had friends, Retro Rich comes to mind, that come down for just week and just want to be part of it because it's just a joyous thing to do. You meet so many different people that love VR, and you put them through, and you can see the outcome on the other side. And it's just a really happy, and most people really enjoy it because they've checked it out before they go on it, and they come off the other side just wanted to talk about their experience and how exciting VR is, and especially when you get the opportunity to show new people either new hardware or games that they didn't think were possible or had never been exposed to. It's a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing to do.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm very sad we can't do much of that with Psytec. Although we did those 2 events, it's really difficult right now in Europe generally to actually do an event like that anymore. The costs have absolutely skyrocketed. A small booth at Gamescom where we were being quoted into 30,000 plus. It's just not realistic for a small indie. It's just not, those type of costs. Plus, and that's without the staff that I've just described. So you end up like either in a very small booth, which isn't that effective. You can't show that many people, and it looks a bit sad, honestly, and it's not really that style. I'd rather do it big or not. We do smaller events. I'll try and get it out on the road. We did an event in London recently, and a few people going down.
I hate that I got gainfully employed, so I couldn't actually attend that. I attended virtually.
It was a bad day anyway. None of the underground was running, which doesn't make it easy. But do you know what? We had a lovely time. It's all we hired a space under the upload bar, and for me, it was like harkening back to when I started Crystal Rift. It was like I started in that bar, although the bar's moved now. Actually, it's gone changed building. It was like just sat down there chatting with everyone and talking about it. It was a different type of showing. It was like a private event almost. It was like really nice. And there was this moment when a couple of people actually came in from the streets just wondering what we were doing, and we had a whole conversation with them. But it was lovely, honestly. It's a shame we couldn't make it, but not surprising. We everything went a little bit fast. We don't like to announce dates or do anything concrete until we've got through the milestones. And we got because you've seen it 1,000 times where people have announced a date and had to push it back because they failed QA or something at the end or whatever. So we try and be as concrete as we can. So we actually got through the QA on the Friday, and by the Monday we'd put something, and we were like, okay, let's do an event now. We can start showing people. Been a bit of a roller coaster towards the end, but I feel really relaxed right now. There's things we're doing behind the scenes. I can say about that, but I did step foot in a new game today, so it's like we started a new game. Which is interesting. I mean, it's early stages. I think I say early stages. I'm talking about it for about a year and a half now, and we've got the trademarks and we've got everything as a game design document stuff. But now we're starting to do what we would describe as the R&D stage, where we're trying to get the essence of the mechanics and trying to understand what we're building. And this is a very different project for us. I think it's that different. We'll have the Psytec DNA in it, and that's important. Way we design and build and iterate is feels like us right now, and I think we're getting quite good at it. I was much calmer this time compared to Windlands 2. Windlands 2 was like no, I wouldn't say panicked. It was just really hard to get it over the line. Whereas this one, there are issues. I'm sure we'll find issues. Going from hundreds of people trying it to thousands, always find things, right? Yeah, but mostly we're finding things like holes in the world and stuff. I think 450 content creators and press and stuff have it at the moment, and I can see people are playing. We've got a really high average gameplay time, so I'm really pleased with that. But more importantly, we're not getting enormous amounts of bugs or support or record data. Like, I don't know. In fact, it's quite quiet. It's like either nobody's playing it at all, or everybody's just having a good time. I'm not quite sure which it is, but it is quite quiet, and I'm quite calm about it. I think I'm very proud of. It's a weird feeling this time. I'm very, very proud of what we've made and what the team have done. Steve, Pascal, me, Jamie, Alan, Cora, Abby, Sam, and Dan. I've a whole bunch of list of people, contractors that have helped us on the time. But we're a tiny team. There's 5 full-time people. And we've all got multiple hats. I have to do the accounts and stuff as well as all the things I do. Code, I do the UI, and then it's pretty much the same for everybody else in the company. Callum does the marketing, the QA, the video production, the quality control, the testing at the last minute. It's like everybody's got a ridiculous amount of hats. But I think we've got. I feel this time we were in control. We sort of knew exactly. In fact, you could describe what we built day one when we sat in our first meeting and just explored. We want these 4 characters. This is what we want them to do. This is we want the gameplay to be 30 minutes. We want this amount of titans. We want, so it's like the execution's got better. The understanding of what we're trying to build's got better. And I think there's a number of things that just almost on every level I'm growing. From networking to some of the mechanics behind some of the bosses, some of the mechanics behind some of the players. I'm very proud of the the rifle and the way that appears or disappears when that's came out of R&D and wanting something that felt like just felt powerful and natural. So yeah, I'm very, very proud of the game. So while I'd love to have great reviews across the board, I'm obviously expecting that it'll be some people's jam and it won't be quite the same hit. I don't think it really matters because I'm really, really proud of it, and there's nothing else happened with it now.
That's fair. That is fair.
We love playing, and we're very proud of it.
Yeah. No, I've got my scathing review written already, so as soon as it goes live, I can just blame you on the internet.
I'm concerned there, Andy, because I know because you've told me that you've completed the game multiple times now. So what I think you're doing is building a very detailed complaint.
Oh yeah, massive. It's going to set the world on fire, and you're going to be in the center of it, where everybody just hates you. That's exactly what's going to happen. Mark my words.
We did whichever way you look at it. We did the absolute best we could do. We spent as much as we could afford to spend on it. We gave it the time. Towards the end, it was like anything we did would either be, possibly break it. It would be too big and break it, or it would be, it would be somebody's opinion rather than a vision, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We would be leaning to somebody's want rather than actually what our vision was, which is tough because you obviously want everybody to love the game. We're not going to, it's not like it's out the door and it stops. If there's things that are broken, we absolutely fix them. Hopefully it sells well enough and we can actually do some more content, because actually there's some things we'd love to have done, but perhaps fell off the drawing board because it was just too ambitious, or because we were parking it. Actually, there were little bits that we were like, we'll park this one for a DLC if we ever get the opportunity to do one, or a future game. So, but yeah, the vision pretty much we were expecting to, and yeah, we're very. We've done the best job we can. So hopefully, a lot of people love it. There are some highlights. There are some wonderful highlights, and hopefully there are very few lowlights. I certainly rack my brain every night. Is there anything else we can do? It's like I've spent months at this project, months in and out, frankly, thinking that way. But there's I think as well, it's well balanced. I think we've got everything to a high quality level. There was times in the project cycle where I felt like something fell below par and we needed to address it, and we've managed to do that pretty much across the board. So everything's got to good quality level, even the things that I think were pretty weak mid-cycle or later cycle. There were some things, especially acting, we'd used this isn't text to voice to test the dialogue before recording real actors. So obviously a lot of people noticed that during playtesting and was scoring relatively low there because it's pretty emotional. But then at the end of the project, we worked with Kirsty Gilmore, who is an incredible voice director. Sort of need a voice director. It's like everything. It's like if I look at Windlands 2, there was like a couple of professional actors, or at the time probably amateur, but now gone on to be professional. Actually, one of the actors we found we did a company outing to Crystal Maze, and they were the leader that took you around. Mm-hmm. And he says, they asked what we did, and I told them, and he says, "Don't suppose you have any acting work?" And it was just like perfect timing, It's like, and most of the recordings, as far as I know, were done in a wardrobe with a microphone to keep the volume down and stuff. So it's like It was pretty
Yeah.
raw, pretty low. And then, we got Kirsty Gilmore for this game, and she voice directed Baldur's Gate 3. It's like, and then everything was recorded professionally in either home studios or remote studios. So and the list of people, like, reel a few off.
Kind of explains some of the cast, because
the cast is incredible, and you probably recognise them, frankly, because like Richard Reed, who plays Quirk, he also plays character in Overwatch, Diablo, and Warhammer. So it's like proper AAA level voice acting with a proper AAA voice director. So and then Dave Jones, who does Sidon, he's also about Baldur's Gate 3, Space Marine, and then Trisha I can't pronounce her surname, Rodriguez, is Stellar Blade and Stellar Blade and Assassin's Creed 4. She was in there. It's like that's Biska, and then just every other character as well. It's like we were just so lucky. First of all, that Kirsty had a window to do it, and that we could get the indie rates to do it, and the faith in the project as well. She, they'd obviously looked at the project and saw the quality of it. So to be able to do that at our level with our budget is like just a bit of a miracle, frankly, and we're so proud of that. But as I say, then the reviews, hopefully, our internal reviews that we do, like play testing, then started to score higher on a lot higher. Right? We went from 6s to 10s or 9s. Right? It was like yes, we cracked that one. And of course, some of those characters that we wrote were quite ambitious for us. We've got comedy, which is something that we've not tackled before. We wanted the game not to feel too serious, too like military-ish. You wanted to, so your companion Quirky's got a level of comedy humor, but without going too far. So got that.
I've been through various sort of phases with Quirk, from points where I'm just like, I like you, to oh my god, I want to shoot you, back to I like you, and I can't wait for the world to see it in 3. Is it 3 days?
We're on now. I feel weird.
Not long.
We're having a company day out into London with an event in the evening. So we're looking forward to a day off, honestly, so that we can hang out.
Which I'm once again hating that I wouldn't be able to attend. Like if it was a day later, totally fine. But I wouldn't be able to attend. In fact, no, not a day later. A week later, I'd be fine.
Well, I'm not taking you any other lobster, that's for sure.
Oh man.
Lobster used to be a poor person's food. It was there once was a lobster riot in a jail because they got sick of having too much lobster. I read that somewhere.
And to this day, I genuinely don't think I can have say I've been anywhere. Like I've never ordered the lobster, because whenever I order food, I'm like, I want to order something that I like, and because it's such an unknown, never order it.
I've had lobster from like a fresh fish shop. It's already been cooked. And they just sell lobster tails.
Lovely. Sounds great. You can just nip down to your supermarket and buy it now, because it comes in the frozen department. It's not cheap though, but then again, everything else is expensive now. You buy a steak and it's like 12 quid or something. It's ridiculous how expensive things have got. You probably get a lobster cheaper than that.
Maybe I should pivot to lobster.
Lobster steaks.
I'll take you out for lobster one time, John. You can be there for my first.
Or do a scratch card and you can have lobster and steak. Right? It's a big night. A big night. Sounds good to me.
It does.
Yeah, so we're going to celebrate it on Thursday. We're very proud of it. We're just like, it's an emotional time, honestly, as well, because like I say, we're a tiny company and we pour our heart into making a game for nearly 3 years, and then somebody somewhere will not be nice about it. So we have to be a bit, I have to be a bit careful.
Well, they will. And I guarantee someone will be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not. It's the internet, right? But but you'd be surprised how much of an emotional journey this can be. It's like I have actually cried in the game multiple times now. The credits we do this in every Psytec game, so it won't be new to people that have completed them. But there's a full-on orchestral track at the end again with a proper singer, and that moment when you've come through the worst and then you get the slow down into that room, for me, when I see that, it emotes strongly for me, actually, because it's designed to do that, right? It's designed to bookmark and seal the game off, so you're not longing for more, and the rewards there and everything. I mean, that's how we designed it, right? But it is a very emotional moment when you first hit the credits. Although the credits aren't the end in this game, which is a lot better than Witness 2.
Well, yeah. I'm in one of my save games. I'm late game. One of my other save games, you deleted that because obviously it's old and past. So yeah, I'm in the end game content on one of my other save games. It's still going. I've very easy got 25, maybe 30 hours in this game, and I will happily finish today and just go straight into that game. Absolutely fine. I'll go anytime. Honestly, anytime anybody wants to play, I don't care who you are, let me know. If you don't own the game and you want to play, let me know.
I feel the same, which is weird, because after 3 years you'd think you do that. No,
yeah.
Hopefully it has actually got, I mean, it was really careful to design it that way. I wanted to, probably a lot of people don't realise, but it's all procedural. The chunks of the world are pinned together procedurally around some rules. So, campaign 1, there's, I don't know, 30 tiles or something. There's a load of different tiles, and any of those can be strung together, but it's got to have certain beats to meet the campaign. So it's got to have it's hard to describe without going into the detail, but let's say halfway through you have to have an encounter, right? So it's one of the encounter tiles that's going to be used. Which sort of, and then there is a Titan at the end. It will be a certain type of Titan. So it's designed to have sort of infinite replayability, and not only do the tiles shuffle, change, and the pick of the tiles change, they get rare ones will appear later and that. So it's and it'd be lovely to add more. Actually, I'd like to add more into the game to activity. But there are 9 campaigns. Each of those has many different tiles, but they also have many different layouts. So they can have like a U-turn, a straight line, a right turn, a left turn, or whatever. And they actually, the way we lay those tile layouts down is also adds to the procedural, because it's choosing like a set of layouts you can choose from. But each one of those layouts is sort of designed to be somewhere. It depends on the layout, because some are slightly longer than others. But between 20 and 30-minute playtime per one, depending how quick you are, and what difficulty level. That would sort of be a normal difficulty level. On Legendary, good luck. Last time I played Legendary, I got 3 tiles in with a group.
I think we got about 3 tiles in, and we were just out of lives at that point.
It is designed for people that play the game a lot and to give them a proper challenge, which
Yeah, I'd say 4 people and incredibly cooperative and communicative with each other.
Also,
you're doomed.
Cross skills, because it's not obvious. I'll talk, but you can all be the same suit if you want. Right? You don't need to choose different suits. You could all be Goliath, or you could all be. So there's certain makeups. There's a lot of cross skilling that happens. Like when you skill up Goliath, you get reflective shield. So you could all go in fully upgraded Goliath with the maximum goop with reflective shield, and then you can pretty much become, on Legendary, you can become a wall of reflective shields. And if you time it right, you can spit back all the bullets, because there's a lot of them, and you can kill them with their own bullets, right? It's a fun thing to do as an exercise. But then if you want to take that one step, like if you go in with 3 Goliaths and 1 Storm can use the railgun, and if he's got 7 fully loaded to 7 shots, then you can goop them. Storm can go bang, 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 and then you get the extra explosion, because Storm's rifle supercharges the explosion for the goop, and then you're killing them really quick. But you like, these are like high end. There's many, many more. Blink is incredibly right. A lot of people won't like Blink straight away.
I'm coming round. I am coming round to Blink.
Blink is by far the deepest, most complex, most powerful character. If you learn to throw both discs, which takes some practice from his shoulders mostly. But
wait, there's 2?
Yeah, you can upgrade.
Or is that an upgrade?
No, you can upgrade it together with this, and you maximize the lock-on, and you put explosives discs on them. So if you've pretty much got a full upgrade there, and you've got full stamina and stuff, you can stay in the air a lot. You can wall run to get your recharge and hit the ground slightly, and you can cause absolutely devastating damage. But you've also got the ability to blink through walls of fire or walls of bullets. So if you get good at it, actually, it's an incredibly OP'd character. But you've got to be really good at it, and it requires a lot of skill to get all that right. It's very easy to start, and people will be going like, well, air control and stuff, right? But actually, it's my favorite. I love all of them because, right? And I think they've all got. What I'm very, very proud about is they're all very different, but they've all got this same sort of curve to them, which is you've got to land occasionally, or you've got to recharge your stamina, you've got to shoot your weapon, and you've got to think about what your next move is, and that is constant, for all of the characters. But they all behave very different. Like Goliath has remote bullets, and if you remote them at the same time, there's a slight increase because, especially if you've got explosive, because they explode each other. So you can goop it up and then explode them all. Once you've gooped it up, you actually cause more damage. So it's like nuances like that we don't really explicitly tell you, and I'm telling you now. Sorry for the spoilers, but as you get deeper and deeper into learning the characters and teamwork together, new things sort of emerge, and that helps you get through the legendary and the heroic. We can pretty much do heroic all the time. Team now,
yeah.
As a group going, we will find the challenge in heroic. I mean, we'll certainly lose some lives and perhaps lose some reboots or whatever, but that's the level of the game. It's a bit like what we talked about earlier. If you play Windlands 1, you should play on hard. If you play Windlands 2, you should play on hard. And if you play Titanals, you should really play on heroic. Because heroic is what you balance it to. But don't jump in straight to heroic. Practice it a bit for maybe upgrade the characters.
The best tactic I found for Windlands 2 is to play with Jon Hibbins. You get so much further, so much faster.
Well, I mean, we do give a scoreboard at the end of Titanals, so you can tell who's holding the team up.
Who's pulling the weight and who's emotional support.
Callum's absolutely stellar at the game, and so's Jamie. But then again, we've been playing it for years.
Well, there is that. I've been in like 5 or 6 different games with Callum, and every single time he's just been the fly on the wall, watching to see what we're doing. So I've never actually seen him in action.
Testing and watching it goes on. But no, incredible. I mean, just really. I'm very proud of it. As I say, it really was a problem in Windlands 2. You sort of played the campaign and then you'd have to play it again, right? And it really was an issue with the game. Although we did do some randomization of where the mobs were, so that it was where the collectibles were, so they were never quite the same. It was never enough. Whereas this game in Endgame, 9 themes, you've got hundreds of tiles. There's at least 100 core tiles, and then considerably. And those core tiles all have those core 100 all have a collectible and a shootable target in it. So it's like you can.
That's the bit that's going to interest me now, because on the 25th, because I can't make it down to you, I'm essentially going to spend the evening hunting collectibles. So that's how I'm going to spend. So that way I'm not showing too much of the game, so people can see what it's about without actually, seeing too much.
We did the same thing we did in Windlands 2, which means a third of them are just visible as you're walking around. So you can see them and they're enticing. They're not normally super easy to get. You've got to make a little bit of a journey off the core path. A third of them are in secret areas, in hard to difficult, just not easy to get to. And then a third of them, I would say, are challenging to get at all. So,
that's I challenge accepted. I will be that soldier. I'm going to find them.
We've done more content creator discoverables this time. I think we did 16 in Windlands 2, and we've done at least 32 in this. So I think it's 32. There's 32 hidden content creators in the world. You sort of go up to the thing and secret area. There's plenty of activity to do that, but there's also like a whole bunch of things to unlock. Different colours. Different. You've got the map is split into a hat, eyes, and mouth. So you've got, I think, 16 of each of those to collect, and then the colours of your suits and the different skins for your guns and the different colours you can unlock, and there's a whole bunch of things that because there's 2 credits in the game. There's essentially skill point credits called super chips, and then there's chips which collect for you collect more chips if you're the person that kills the mob, or the secret boxes around the world, and you get slightly less chips for an assist.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
if
not too
you
bad.
kill anything, you get no chips at all. No sup.
Okay, good to know. I'll keep that in mind.
Or Callum watching you got no chips. Poor thing.
Yeah, I've got like 4 different save games on the go point. So I honestly don't know where I am with what anymore, but it's just all joy. And this is one of the things I've said on multiple different occasions, and you are by no stretch of the imagination. You just kind of prove the point. If you're making a VR game, I think one of your primary goals essentially has to be for passion and joy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're making a VR game for money and you're just chasing whatever trend meta is blogging at this point, if you're jumping around like a gorilla playing Tiggy, then you're probably not going to get anywhere. Every time I've been in this game, the passion for VR and making this game is just undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is one of the core things that needs to have in a great game, especially in this modern day environment. So it just oozes with the passion that you have, and your pride in the game is completely justified. It truly is.
Oh, you did. You played it quite a long time ago as well, because I asked you to play it wasn't that?
It was a year ago at this point.
Yeah, about a year ago, last Connect.
Yeah.
And so you'd have seen come a long way even in the last year. But yeah, it's funny.
Definitely.
Last few months, the spaghetti junction comes together, if that makes sense. And we're quite a detail first company. We actually do the detail as we go along, but sort of the last bits started getting finished, and there was less and less, if you could do a playtest, there was less and less things to say, right? It was like, you'd come out of a full a few levels and people would say, it'd be quite nice if we had slightly more of those mobs, or I found a hole in the floor here. It started getting obvious to me that we were getting closer to the end. And then one day out of the blue, it's like I considered the game, fit for market. I wouldn't say done, because like any piece of art, right? You sort of like, is it really end? I can tell you I improved the racist dialogue thing today, the UI, because I'm not quite happy with it. It was just like buttons on a panel. So I've like an early patch would just get like pictures and a bit like that. So I don't think finished is an easy thing to do. But it's not. I'm not in there fixing some major thing. It's like it's adding or polishing a little bit more. And at this point, that's why we started our next game. Really, it's like we want to carry on maintaining and polishing. At the time, whatever, we'll carry on with Cyanars, certainly for the next month. And if needed, we'll do 100% of the time. Right, we've got that window. And if it does really, really well, we'll do more and keep growing it. If it does okay, then I think it's good to move on and start our next games and start doing exciting things. I think that's really good. Although Titanhouse is an interesting beast, I think it's a bit more of a forever game, and I'm noticing that more and more. People are quite happy to go back, and because of the procedural nature, it's never really the same. So and there's a lot more we could do there. We could add extra tiles in, we could add extra themes in, we could add we could add an extra character. We could there's all sorts of options are open on the table, but it would need to sell really well, really, to justify that. If I'm hoping I think they call it cuts its teeth. Hopefully it will return the investment, and that will be great, because we'll at least start our next project with an investment. But it's rough out at the moment. So I need everybody's word of mouth. If you like it, please tell people, because they wouldn't believe how important it is, word of mouth. The store, as you're probably aware, isn't helping us right now. It's probably doing the opposite. I think it's actively trying to spread it.
Bury people. Yeah.
We're doing everything we can to get exposure in the store. And there's some exciting things happening this week. We've got a blog going out with Meta this week, and got some exciting gift packs going out to content creators and stuff for this. It's just a pretty exciting week for us as we ramp up towards the day of release. Ultimately, if you like the game, tweet about it comment, put stuff in Reddit, tell people, because word of mouth is pretty much the only way you can sell games. That's why.
Which I have actually
that's
just
why Gorilla Tag and I Am Cat and those games are very. Firstly, they're free, which is great. Can be free because you've got monetization models and large numbers of people in there. But the second thing is they've really become popular through user-generated content. That lots of users talking about the game and getting word of mouth. That's actually where and content creators that are quite big covering it. So everything. Even any content creators are listening, I really appreciate what you do for us. Anything you do to cover us and help us get the message out there is amazing. Even if I want people to be honest. Even if you don't like things, that's fine. The actual coverage really matters to us. And if you play the game and like it, just wishlist this. Honestly,
I was about to say I've just put a link to both the Steam store and the Meta store in the chat. It doesn't cost you anything. Go and wishlist it, if nothing else, and then that is going to help it.
If you like, say so. Like that. If you don't like it, still say so. It's all noise, and you need as much noise as we can. It's really, really. I can't tell you how rough it is out there. We've seen a lot of companies suffering with that. It's a combination of a lot of things. I don't want to blame Meta's store. It's like that's only part of the picture. It's a much more complex picture.
I did.
It's not facing a lot of challenges. Mortgage rates are high. This goes on. Hey, cost of steak and lobster's high as well.
Nice side about the content. I don't know whose idea it was. This is the content coming from yours. Alan might have started it, but getting Demo Kuro to do the trailer, it was like a masterstroke. His trailers are insane.
Thank you. Again, bit of a miracle how we pulled that off. It was a set circumstances. Very, very proud of the trailer. And also, it's the first one he's done. He had a slightly, like a lot of his trailers are fairly shootery type things. But it's the first one he's done that required a slightly different emotion, like the sci-fi and stuff. And also, we shout out to Danai and him. They worked really, really hard, mostly every weekend until midnight, getting the music track custom, because we've got full CD and worth of music, which is alongside the game on Steam, but also when you play the game. And it's an amazing track. It's like, I can't even describe how cool it is. It's like every time I listen to it, I think it's something out of Jurassic Park or something. It's like it's got this full emotive orchestra stuff going on. It's really incredible music. And as I say, we've got a song track at the end, which Dan I wrote. And he did this amazing job to create a custom track for the trailer as well, because you need a different type of beat for that. And between them, they just did this incredible job on the trailer. I met last year's Connect, actually. I met him in the queue on the way in. What to do? Mostly for the CEO of Live, came over with him and introduced him to me. So it started a relationship way back then, and I'd heard his name. I think Mike from VRverse has mentioned his name before, but I met him by that time as well. And and honestly, I didn't think we'd ever use him because the costs were so high. When he was working for Live, it was just prohibitive. We couldn't have done it. And then anyway, he's not working for Live anymore. He moved out to Dubai, where it's tax free, and it's like the whole picture randomly changed. And it still wasn't. It was a big investment for us as a tiny company with a tiny budget. But like you say, there aren't many people like him. And he, to be fair, he played the game, really liked it, and felt that he could do it justice. And that all came together beautifully. So that was magic when that happened. And I'm very proud of the trailer. It looks great. Shows off the game quite well. Like it's impossible to show how good the game looks in VR, right? And well, I don't know. That's my opinion, but it looks great in VR. We had the concept was actually again a bit of a fluke here, and a whole different story here. But the person that did the logos and the concept art, the company was Status Effect, and Status Effect are known for doing AAA games only, right? And I'm not kidding. Big AAA games. They did Sea of Thieves, and they did various other. These are big games that we like never work with these people. They're American. It's on a different time scale, but we really got on with them. They really got on with us, and we worked our way through it, and they ultimately have worked really closely with us on actually our next game as well. They did the logo for our next game because we like already. But it was really, really good to be able to work with them and do the concept art and some of the environments. And James, who we've worked with for many years now, did all the concept art for Windlands, or not all of it, but most of the concept art for Windlands 2. Worked with us for nearly 2 years on the concept art and designs of monsters and characters and stuff in Titan Isles. So we've been lucky to work with some incredible talent. I pinch myself regularly the amount of talent that's been working on this game, and how that's now for again, I think it punches well above its weight in budget and game quality, due to those things. And truthfully, this is not a massive budget game. Right? It's been done on a very but still, it's we had help from Meta as well. They're co-publishers on this to help us get across the line. Enough budget to work with, and it costs a lot to make games. It's not a 5 million, 10 million, whatever the big number of games get. God knows what they get, to be fair, but you can guess.
Yeah.
Did you work with the haptics for the haptics a bit, or is that just all internal? Because
I do the haptics. Really have got multiple hats. I'm really into haptics design and getting haptics working. So, like, I did all the haptics for the different controllers, whether it be Pulse or the HD haptics for the HD controllers. I did that, and I also did the B haptics. I did the B haptics one for Windlands 2 as well. Wasn't very good in Windlands 2, mostly because the tools weren't there. Actually, the new B haptics editor suite and capabilities is much higher. There are hundreds. I probably went a little bit far if I think about it now. There's something like 20 different surface types, and each of them have a different type of footstep for running, walking, and slow plods. Each of the surface types has landing. So if you land soft or hard or powerful, you can actually restore them. You've done this, Andy. Turn your things upside down and slam yourself against the floor with Goliath or whatever, and you go off the smoke and crack like one of Goliath's movies, a power land that causes an explosion.
Okay. Now I've definitely special. I've used the it's not Iron Man. I've used the jets to sort of push myself around and backwards and things like that, rather than
Fett, Iron Man. Just all of those things are like inspirational to these things, but ultimately we tried to make our own thing.
Dramatically different Disney.
The hand jets, really. I mean, that's the thing.
That's it.
Hand jets and backpack, and the combination of those two things working together, you can do some.
But the only time I've really gone down is if I go any further forward, there will be no down. Like it will. Or
you've done the bit where you can put your hands behind your back and steer.
Yes, that's one of the things that I frequently will do.
There's a lot of tricks to races as well. That's one of them, doing that, but basically burning your jets to get speed and timing the landing.
Yeah.
I'm going to love seeing races and how people get on with this. Because each of the races, there's an extra, we've done races before, but there's A to B races, there's collect 10 things and get to the exit races, and now there's shoot 10 things and get to the exit. But all of them, like what I've just said, Windlands 2, you could perhaps pull your rope, which then you've got this, I don't want to say gorilla tag, but you've got this sort of pulling motion that makes you go faster. So we thought about that with Blink and with with Hunter and everything, and in races. So there's a lot of marginal improvement you can get with perfect timing for your stamina and perfect timing for your boosts.
I have become mildly upset.
I think it's a lot deeper than we ever got in Windlands 2, and that was incredibly competitive. But this one, there are a lot more nuances. As I say, we really dug deep into the thought process there and have been practicing. Races actually went in probably 2 years plus ago. It was like one of those things that we wanted to build out properly and actually make sure worked really well and had the nuances in it. It's all balances. Very proud of that too. But you can play each one of the races in each one of the suits. So whoever's the host,
and no suit.
If you're
that scares me.
It's no suit's hard, but you can do it. You can sort of bounce off walls and use parkour, and it's like you can get all of them are possible. I can tell you that.
That much I guess, but
Easy to dull, different kettle of fish. But no, I'm looking forward to that. But effectively, that means that we've got 2 A to B races at launch. We've got 2 A to B races. We've got 2 collecting races and 2 target races. But that each one of those can be run in any one of the 5 suits. Well, no suit and the 4 suit. So essentially, it's so many more leaderboards, so many more things you well. So I felt very strongly that we didn't want to go too far day one because it's tempting to add more races, it's tempting to add more leaderboards and more skill things. But 3 different types of races and all the suits actually for a while, and then people really want us to and skill arts with.
You'll be sick of me saying it at this point, but just the next game, don't even bother. Just Titan Isles racing. Just all races.
How many people have actually got into it? Because you sort of playtest the game, and you've done the game where you've gone out a few times, and then you're like, oh, okay, what's this thing over here at the cantina? Or you're like, oh, races, and then you do one, and you're like, oh, I got 25th on the scoreboard. That wasn't very good. I'll try again. It's like, and it's really, really good fun in 4-player because you're racing at the same time. It sort of contains you in a box, and then there's a countdown, and then you're racing at exactly the same time. There's a big trick there as well. I'm a big spoiler. Don't listen. It's got the Mario Kart start, so the countdown starts.
I think I figured that one out. Yeah.
So if you put your back against the back wall and go as soon as the 2 hits the bottom, you've got the Mario Kart start.
You'll basically hit the front of the box as the wall drops, so you're out at the fastest possible. You're going to wipe the leaderboards, but the last time I checked, I was number 1 on Hunter on race 1. Number 2 was...
I am going to wipe the leaderboards, mostly because it's really, really unfair to launch a game with...
This is fair.
On 2 weeks practice it. But to be fair, you can go and beat them again.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. I fully intend to. Absolutely. I fully intend to.
Devs that have been playing for years at the top.
The problem is that when the world gets it, I'm then going to be going against the world, and I've seen some of the Windlands 1 and 2 speedruns, and I look at them and I'm just like, you're Jedis. How do you do this? I don't. Did somebody complete Windlands 1 in like 20 minutes?
Crazy speedrunners.
It's nuts. So yeah, I know when the world gets it, my best will not be good enough.
Probably not on hard though. Honestly, play Windlands 1 on hard.
I don't remember. I think it might have just been normal when I played it. I did it all in one stream. I did a thing where if the community gave enough points, I would do Windlands 1 in one stream without stopping. Yeah, I think I did it on.
Yeah, I'm expecting the races to be a lot of fun for a lot of people. I enjoy playing them as I race, especially. I think our favourite is Hunter on the A to B races because there's
you'll see everybody in a few days' time when you buy it.
Shortcuts and stuff. You can bounce off walls. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
If I got it just right, I could cut such a dramatic part of tile 2 of the race and Hunter, and I was like, right, yeah, this is where I'm saving a lot of time. And then there was one part that I just snagged all the time.
And you can go right. There's a lot of ways of doing the maps, right? As I say, it's a bit nuanced because you think, well, maybe I'll just go under the map and then go, but we've sort of designed them not to quite be right like that. It's hard to do.
Nope. Yeah, I try and get cheesy every chance I get. Don't you worry, I do. It's going to entertain me.
The swing of your legs matters, so it's like hitting the floor and bouncing off in the right direction. Is a wall. Yeah,
if you go sort of hard into the floor,
races.
Yeah. It was. It has truly been a joy, and I cannot wait to join. Sure.
Have you done? Paul, have you played much?
I've done it all through once, and
nice.
Quite far through with Goliath. I did Storm the first time, but now I'm maxing Goliath higher.
Paul, Jess, or enjoying it?
I'm really enjoying it, yeah. But now I'm maxing Goliath higher. I'm actually finding.
I don't know how we found it, but it has got this. Like, I've got 30 minutes. I might just go and shoot some enemies.
Yeah.
And I think some of that, I think we've learned a lot, and I think a lot of the enemies there's so many nuances to this game. A lot of the enemies are quite clever now. It's like the Sentinels shoot either with Hunter or Goliath. Shooting off the engines is just a joy.
Mhm.
You just shoot the engines, and so you like it. It's almost like target practice. It's like headshot, but you go engine, and it sort of drops and dies. But you can also teamwork that. The weak spot on there is actually not the engines; it's the power core at the back. You can sort of like one person can attract and start the front, and then another person sort of spin around the back and get the power core. But if you're good at teamwork, a lot of the game is like that. And a lot of the enemies have been designed to be quicker to kill in a certain way.
Mm.
That isn't obvious, right? You just need to say, "Oh, I did that," and it's like, and also we wanted to have emerging gameplay so that the game felt like it was like, so when you hit things, they sort of bounce off, and this physics, and it's like they can bounce off walls and things, and they have to correct themselves and stuff. But that means that you don't quite know what's going to happen. The game can merge beautifully, and then there's slight delays in the way that mobs spawn, where they come from, and things like that. And we put a lot of effort. But this one I'm really proud of. I really like. I don't know what these are, but the amorphous crawlers are like these. You'll know what they are when I describe them. They're like an eyeball that crawls along the walls.
Oh, I know exactly what they are, because there was one time we were playing it, and I was like, these little jackasses are giving me a right pain. I think that was the time when we bumped it up to a harder setting, and they weren't like in the past. They weren't much of an issue, and then when you start getting into the harder settings, and you've got maybe a couple of sentinels flying around, but then they're just running all over the walls and shooting you, and you're like, oh, I need to pay attention to these little bastards now. But I mean, the enemy I hate the most. And I'll let the rest of the world play the game and then realize exactly which one I'm on about. You'll know,
because they're I get the same fear when I walk into the room and hear those clicks.
Like, who hurt you? Who do I blame for that?
Yeah, it was yeah.
What's the easy way of killing them?
It's like most mobs. They start off but like a square on a piece of land, maybe shooting a bullet at you, right? And then you've got to be like, I specifically, there's a long story to this, and I don't want to bore you with all the history, but I specifically wanted this one to not be obvious where it is, so it could burrow away, and so you wouldn't know they were coming, but you sort of heard them come, and then they would appear, but they would appear from random points. You never quite knew where they were going to appear from. And then they're little cheeky buggers. They just fly across the map with their chats. And, and you sort of have to track where they've gone, because like they'll be shooting you. That's guaranteed. Wherever they've landed, they'll start to shoot you, but they shoot fast, and you've got to really have position on them. So, and there are some cheeky logic in there that means it will jump over your head on purpose and things like that. Other logic is like, if you miss, they'll jump immediately, so it's frustrating. So it's like, and they're quite small hitboxes around. Yeah, so there's lots of little cheeky ways of adding up these like lots of little layers. And they were really hard at one point when we didn't have the flash of the gun point or the jets behind them as they were flying. They were just a little bit too hard to find, and a little bit like the audio wasn't quite there, so you couldn't position the audio of them. So, and then, but like I say, sort of like over a bit of polish and a bit of time and a bit of play testing, that they just all come together, and then you got this incredible experience where you got a room full of them and you're absolutely all going crazy. So where are they? Why am I so being shot?
I in one of my
it's never unfair, right? It never feels like it's not your fault.
Yeah,
right? That's a big balance. It's like there were many points in playtesting where it's like, this is just not fair. I'm just dying, right? And we want to avoid that as much as possible. And I imagine we'll still do some polishing to make sure that's not the case once we watch more reviews come in and things like that. But you just want it to feel like it's your own. It's not outskilling you. It's like, actually, I should have tracked that and I missed it. Those type of things. But
yeah, it's I've given many different feedbacks, and there was basically the one where it was like a paragraph on how horrible that enemy is.
Yeah, we left
And it was created by an evil, sadistic, horrible human being.
Very sadistic. It's perfectly fair.
You enjoy torturing people. You absolutely enjoy torturing people. And then the very last thing, like, if
also really like it.
if you,
I can't think about. I'm sure there are other games that have a similar mob, but I don't really. We don't think like that as a studio. We think about. I think very deeply about the emotions you're trying to trigger in people while you're playing a game. I don't think about function, and I think very. I think hard. What is the purpose of this mob? What emotion? How's it supposed to emote to the player? How does it feel when it moves and shoots? And how does it react to you as a player? No, try and I think I think very hard about that. And that player, yeah, I mean, you could call me sadistic, but it was supposed to emote a minor level, not of panic, right?
Well, you see, this is the thing, though. The feedback that I gave this absolutely horrible, scathing, this is a horrible enemy and I hate them. The whoever created this enemy needs to sit down and have a good long look in the mirror at the kind of person they've become. Change nothing. That was the end of it. I was like, it's perfect. Change nothing. I hate it, but it's perfect. Change nothing.
Honestly, I think the game's like repeatable, right? So there's this balance of not having to, there's a world where we only had a few titans or a few mobs, right? And I didn't want to do that, right? I don't think anything we can do could truly feed the beast on this one, right? But people that really love it are going to carry on playing it, and that's amazing. Super proud we made a game that hopefully people will love and carry on playing for years. But feeding that beast is like, there are never going to be enough mobs and variations and bullets and lasers and plasmas and goop guns and all the rest of it, right? There's always a need for more, but hopefully we really did a good job at making sure that there's more than the basic, right? There's a minimum game here that we could have had. We pushed it much further. There were a load of titans, a load of bosses, and there were a load of mobs and different variations of their behaviors. So I'm hoping we did a good job there that will feed the beast for a while, and because that's tough, because I want people to really enjoy the game and not get bored of it. Really important to me, the replayability of this one. We did, paper white. We were crazy to try and do a procedural game at the scale it is. I think it'll become obvious when people play it, but the levels are absolutely enormous, and you can see the entire level wherever you stood. It's it's a more advanced version.
Because I know
that's the thing.
I know it was one thing we discussed when we were playing. I kept saying like the scale of this is insane, like the sense of scale.
Yeah, and and we really wanted to keep that. Partly you need it. If you're going to put a whole bunch of jetpacks, grappling hooks, dashing wall runners, and airjet people in a map, you're going to need some scale. If you're going to put massive titans, bullet hell, you're going to need to see them coming, right? And so I don't think it was easy by any means. It presented so many challenges through dev. I can't even start discussing that, honestly. But it's really, really hard to pull off technically what we did. It's basically the engine. I would say the Windlands 2 engine was about 30% of what it needed to get to in order to pull off Titan Isles. That's how much work we've put into it. There's a whole bunch of DevOps and baking scripts and light prototypization on the fly and utilization. I would say that on the fly. There's a whole bunch of logic behind the randomization. There's a whole bunch of logic behind the way LODs work at scale, and game has to have every shader needs to be a handwritten HDSL shader compatible with doing scaling and things like that. And it's like, and we literally fill the memory like to the limit of the quest almost. We've got enough buffer, so crash all over. But we literally fill up all of the memory with light maps and baking data and the levels. It loads pretty fast, which is a miracle. It's the way the engineered quite a lot of that stuff. But fundamentally, the world looks beautiful when you're in it, and at the scale, it's this offset. I think we could make an incredibly detailed game with short-term LOD with the same technology would look stunning, right? It would like, we could put a lot of polygons in. But to me, the balance between having very, very large levels with relatively low detail up front pays off if you've got fast movement. But when you look at it in, what would you say, vista or landscape, and you're looking at the world, it does look beautiful in game. You're not looking at the tree in front of you, you're looking at the vista. And something even more special when you've got vista at scale about, and you've seen this in scenery and stuff, you've got, first of all, you've got fog fading into the distance. So you're getting this parallax effect as you're running along of mountains passing by at multiple levels in the distance through the fog. And it's like, it's a bit like Journey. It just looks stunning as you're moving the game in, and you can see for miles and see the whole map. And then we've also done some clever stuff in the pipeline, because the HDR cell shaders have got to bring in low level fog as well. So looking over the edge, you sort of peer into the valleys and stuff. And that all comes together, I think, very beautifully, along with the great concept art and a whole bunch of really talented 3D artists. And consistently, everything, we don't like up the quality on one level and dump it on the next. We've got everything to that perfect consistency of doing that. So, I personally think that creates a beauty in itself when you've got large level parallax. And if you can stick a giant Titan in there, then even better, right? Because then you get true scale. I mean, you can't, we tested all sorts. We've had prototype, we've had giant scalable Titans, a bit like God of War or whatever, that can climb up arms and stuff. We've had Titan, because we can have any size we want. We've had smallish Titans, giant Titans. There's these sort of sweet spots. In fact, the biggest, you'll recognize this, but the Tentacron, the one with the big old tentacles, and not Tentacron, Trident, who's got all the big tentacles and the lasers and stuff, that is about as big as you'd want a Titan to be. If you go much bigger than that, you actually start to lose scale, or it becomes very difficult to shoot it, traverse it, face it down.
Yeah.
They're just too big. It's so, I mean, arguably we could do something bigger, but it's never really worked, truly. In fact, we had one of the bosses we had, you could sort of get swallowed and go inside of it, and it really, it doesn't sound, it sounds epic, but in practice, it doesn't work. The scales just. You also spend a lot of time prepositioning scales, so there's a number of areas here where you get used to the scale of a certain object in the game, and then you use that alongside the Titan. So by the time you get to the Titan, you realise you know what the scale of the objects are, and then you see the Titan looming above them, and it's and a lot of tricks in level design that are very helpful as well, like exposition. So typically you enter Titan through corridors. A couple of things that help there. One is that you get the fog wall, which effectively stops camping in the spawn points or dying too much in the spawn points, which could be very problematic. But also that going through a tunnel and then expositioning into a large arena and things like that. It's a beautiful moment, and it gives you that sense of scale. And when you first see these
things, you'd say that my mind went to certain situations where those actually happen. I was like, okay, yeah, I can see. I now know, when you say that, I know what you're on about.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's not too noticeable in the game. We try not to ram gates.
Oh no! Yeah,
it's like you have to. We have to have doors, because there was a point where we weren't gating enough, and people would just just fly over the map and ignore mobs completely and things like that. So we had to create good flow there and gates and things like that. But either get the randomization with that, and not knowing what's next also slows you down a little bit, because you literally would have to play 100 times before you actually start to learn all the tiles and knew what they were, and some of them just appear infrequently enough that you're surprised when you can play 50th game and then one tile.
I think we were playing recently, us three, and you're like, I don't think I've seen this tile before.
No,
even you had sort of not seen a tile that much, and the amount of hours you've got in there, I've seen the amount of hours you've got in Steam alone on that game. And that nearly doubles what I've got in all platforms. So you've seen a lot.
It's nice to see new things, and there are some that just statistically will not appear as often, and they're special when you see them. I think we could have done more there. We could have more end game stuff would have been nice. It's like in end game, like throwing in an extra 10 tiles that you just couldn't get for winning the campaign, things like that. I'd love to have done more, but
I don't know how feasible it would be, but one of the best things you could possibly do is map editor. Let the community make the level.
Feasible. You should be
infinite.
Well, you could start paying for the licenses for some of the technology we've got. Most of the technology stacks our own, but yeah, we've needed a bunch of enterprise tools to help us. So it's just unless it really is a runaway success. It's possible, but yeah, the actual pipeline for doing it. I mean, it's not to say you couldn't do like basic version of it. Perhaps that's wise. We've had editor builds, even Winlands 2. You could place blocks and stuff because we used to do it like a bit of a peek under the curtain here, behind the curtain. But we can go into the game and be effectively a god mode that allows us to fly around, laser point at things, mark stuff, do stuff inside the game like race tickets, bat holes, and things like that. So we need that in dev to test things, to experiment, watch. But essentially, when one person goes into god mode and the others are playing, it just reduces the amount of players that the enemies are targeting and things like that. So that's useful equipment. Yeah, we've had tools in Lands 2 specifically to be able to place bushes and objects and things like that, so that we can test steps or parkour things. Don't do a lot of that. It was a different project, and its tech stack was complicated. But yeah, we can fly around them. And we've got imagine a panel in the game that's god mode, jump to the bosses, change difficulty.
I may or may not have tinkered with said panel when I found it in one of the builds about a year ago.
Sadly, it does not appear in production. It is strict.
So yeah, that is absolutely.
And even it never turned on in races. Races, it explicitly banned it so that we couldn't cheat. So, which was a bit of a pain because sometimes you couldn't mark things or do stuff. But yeah,
yeah,
it's good stuff.
We will certainly come back to Titan Isles before we finish, and I don't know if we've got you for the full 2 hours.
Let's talk about Connect,
because I do want to prod you about Connect. So obviously, looking very well. You've just come back from sunny San Fran.
Slightly feeling the jet lag. I'm not completely free of it yet, but I've done pretty well.
I was worried, but
no, I've done pretty well.
You were like, "No, we'll do it. It's fine."
I managed to mostly stay up on. I flew in and back on the Saturday morning. I managed to sleep well on the plane, so that's a good thing to start with. I say well, probably got 4 or 5 hours. Then I managed to stay up late on Saturday night. Really slept through until the Sunday morning, so that sort of really kicked me into it.
Reset you a bit.
There were moments I was super tired, but yeah, I've done a full day of work today and I've been fine. I feel pretty good at the moment. So I'm hoping if I can stay up latish tonight and pass out again, that would be great. I'll fix the back of it. But I'm feeling pretty normal.
We'll keep you up.
I've done a lot of travelling, so it's gone better than this, but it's definitely gone worse than this before. So it's like I feel like I'm doing okay this time. And I try and I do the reverse on the way out to the States. It works for me. I stay up till past midnight when I go to California. And that gets me really exhausted by the time you've done the travelling. But how I still do that, then I'll collapse and then wake up ridiculously early, like 7 a.m.
I was fortunate enough to be with you last year. And that first night, I don't know what time it was when we went.
I know what we did. We went to Sonoma and went to the bar. Did we get to Sonoma?
We went out to a couple of bars and we went out for, was it Mexican food? What was that lovely restaurant that we went to?
So many.
Yeah, it really was. It was absolutely beautiful. But yeah, we were up and about to what must have been like 6 a.m. in the UK. And I don't think any of us had slept. And that first night seemed really easy to just get on to
It's very
joy.
helpful if you're going with people like that talk VR, and we did the same this time. Zoom was with us this time, and Niels, who does Grab, shout out to Niels, he's awesome. And Callum was with us as well. But as long as you've got people with you that talk VR, put it this way: we picked up the car from San Francisco airport, drove it around on the Sunday. I don't think we had any music on. We just talked VR all the time, and we must have driven a lot, but like about 12 hours worth of driving or something. So
I had the pleasure of meeting him at an event, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I made a game called Grab, and this is way back when it was just on side quest, and it was very, very basic." And I was like, "All right, cool, I'll check it out. And this is actually really great." And then it's just blown up since then.
Yeah, he's doing really well. I'm very proud of him. What he's doing there, he's doing cool stuff. Seeing part of that world, talking to him about it. But we just like the visit before. We just gone trying to climb it the first weekend and just like hang out, talk VR, do some stuff. I'm not sure you'd have liked any of it. We went back to that place. We drove an hour and a half to have that steak sandwich again. That shaved rib and French onion baguette thing. It was that. I think it's the best sandwich in the world. Don't think there's a better one in the world until somebody proves to me otherwise. Can you remember we stopped?
Okay, yeah.
You did. Tim and I had it, and we drove back there just to have it, and we literally drove an hour and a half over the Sonoma Mountains through fire zones of danger. Just to get the sandwich. Didn't matter. We were going to get the sandwich. No, you wouldn't have liked it. We did a really boring thing. Had go kart.
What part of everything you're saying to me, you get to hang out with cool people that love VR, eat great food, and go kart. Which part am I not supposed to like again?
You didn't like the walk up the San Francisco Hill that time. You were actively pissed off we were doing that.
I was not pissed. I wasn't pissed off.
You weren't like
fat and massively.
This is great, John. You were like, Jesus Christ, I'm never going to make it to the top. I don't like.
And there was definitely an element of like just playing up the like fuck you San Francisco. Although there was an element of truth to fuck you San Francisco. Why do you have to be so many hills? I'm not used to. I live here. I live in this chair. I very rarely got out much. So it was a massive shock to the body in a big bad way. I love these trips. I just love these trips. I've got super happy memories at the time. Me and you booked when did that with groups at the time. It's like it's just a great privilege to be able to go to America every so often. I go for MetaConnect, but I also go for GDC, and I've got friends out in America. So I've been to New York a few times, and it's like I do go to do a bit of traveling. Probably 3 times a year to America now, and I don't really want to do the same thing. So it's like we try and go. It's really beautiful to be able to hang out with people. I've got the good thing about being a software developer is it does. All the business is done all over the world. So I think that's a wonderful thing as long as you like traveling. And I really do like traveling. So I get to go all over the world. My favorite shows out in Dubrovnik, Croatia. See this games, Helsinki for Slush, and there's all these events that we go to. And really that's where the business is done. That's where we hang out with Meta, where we gain valuable insight to the dev process, whether it be store stuff or whatever with individuals. It's where the talks are on the deep dives into Unity or AWE stuff, going on about like challenges in the industry and stuff. So and then you're privileged enough to hang out with people you really admire. I have a list so long of people that make meta games right now and become more and more friends over time. And I've been doing this for 12 years now, and I'm still bumping into I bumped into Kent By on campus, and then I bumped into him in SVVR. We had a really, really nice chat, and we're not super close friends. We don't talk all the time, but occasionally we'll email each other or we'll just have a conversation when we do bump into each other at one of the events. And inevitably there are 60,000 hugs along the way. People just running up or tapping me on the back and saying hello, John.
So it's a lovely thing, and I get to have the privilege of doing other things. Played Killer Queen.
Yeah.
We played a lot.
That go-kart track looked
I've
dope.
slowly got people into pinball.
Well, did you ever go to the...
This time?
What was the bar? Me, Buck, Zim, and Vivian.
I did go to the bar this time with the pinballs at the back and stuff, because I think on one night we were just like, what should we do now? And we just like, let's go play pinball. And that bar was suggested.
Yeah.
I've got pinball in the back there. When we go there, and it was awesome. You know why it was awesome? I'm really into pinball FX, and I play a lot of that. And a lot of the tables of pinball that FX have got are the original midways, and that bar actually had like 4 of them. So I knew the table straight away, which was really helpful. And they also had some really classic ones. They had Adam's Family as well, which it's a very challenging thing. And then they got a whole bunch of Stern games, which are really cool. So, but actually, we went back to Beer Bottle Company, got a bunch of games. But as soon as I saw Godzilla, that's the only one I wanted to play, because Godzilla's like a pinball game. It's really, for those that know, machine. That a lot, but we all sorts. I mean, I went to play. What would you call it?
What's that Queen?
Is it Killer Queen? No, we did
Killer Queen.
Yeah, we played.
Yeah,
that. There was enough of us there that we could play.
That can get crazy.
It was crazy, really good fun. I must remind me actually. I must buy that on the Switch. I need to buy it on the Switch.
Yeah,
I'll play it in the lounge with the kids. But what was I going to say? There's some emotion, So for me, it's amazing hanging out with him every year as well. This is like together or something, but there's a lot of them together, so it's like it's become like a bit of a mecca for us to hang out. He didn't have tickets this year; a lot of content creators didn't, but he got a lot of value, because a lot of it, I think people miss this, but the event's actually only a few days, right? There were a lot of things that weren't perhaps so public. We did a lot of developer round tables and on-site stuff with Meta prior to the event, so it's like that wasn't really spoken around a lot, but that enabled us to get closer to Meta and spend time with each other, but also understand get feedback and talk about the platform and things like that. It's not particularly exciting stuff. I don't want to give any detail, but it does give us the opportunity to speak with people and help guide the future of what Meta are working on. But fundamentally, before all of that, we spent 5 days together or something, or 4 days together, right? So it's like there was a lot of event. We got the Psytec event, we did that, but we also SVVR, we also hung out a lot. And once people start coming into town, we've got internal groups where we can get we're here, right? And then people will get together. So and some people just in town. So I spent a lot of time with. Spend time with this time. There's just lots of people.
It was
people. There were lots of people in town. Anyway, being there for Meta Connect, doing what we were doing, essentially hanging out, doing the pre-parties or the pre-events, and there's common places to hang out, like by the fire pits or certain that you pretty much know people are going to be there. So we had a lot of that stuff. But yeah, Tigress. That's what I was going to say. Tigress and
Charlotte was out.
She
was out there for something else.
We definitely did. I don't want to get into trouble, but we definitely did at least one midnight Shake Shack where we were all hungry. But this trouble is in. I don't think it should be owning up going to Shake Shack. Drink some burgers at midnight. Good burger though, surprising. Ticked off one of my bucket lists this year. I had a Chick-fil-A 5 years ago. I tried to go to one. I still haven't gone to one. Like the amount of times I go to America, I should have had a Chick-fil-A, but it was on my bucket list. So we, 4 of us went off for a Chick-fil-A. I don't think any of us have had a Chick-fil-A.
No,
we did.
It was one of the short list that I had.
Yeah. We turned up. We had a Chick-fil-A. It was a fine sandwich, actually. It was surprising. The sauce was really good. I would go back. Okay,
nice. I'll keep that back on my list, hopefully for next year.
Yeah, we should just go. People just go. I mean, it's like
it's what we did last year, because I wasn't invited. Me and Buck weren't invited. We just went.
The events, it's a mixed bag, right? I love going to the event. Of course I do. I see people, but it's like, I don't know, an hour queuing to get into a conference hall. The same conference thing that everybody else sees. It's just you closer. you can sniff the
Yeah.
stage, right? But you, even then, before the show, they want you sat down in the room. You know, it's like half an hour of waiting with a countdown on the window, you know, up on the board, and then eventually it starts, and then, you know, so it's not really anything you don't see. I have actually been into Horizon and seen this year's keynote. You know, you can go into Horizon and go and watch the keynote, and you'll have a very similar. You know, ironically, I was sat right behind the stereo camera. Right, I was literally behind it. It's like the view you get in there is
what you had.
It was like,
Yeah.
The camera was next to me, you know. It's like it was exactly the same view. And honestly, if anything, clearer audio and higher quality visual. Right?
Yeah. It was the thing that, for me last year, Meta Connect was one of those. It was not so much bucket list, because bucket lists are a little sad. But it was one of those sort of tentpole lifetime best. I need to do this before I die. Like, no, I need to do this so I can live. That you know, it's slightly maybe the sentiment behind a bucket list of I need to do this before I kick the bucket.
A list of things that you want to do before you leave the planet is fine, isn't it? We're all leaving.
Yeah, it's fine, but I don't know. I think it could be nicer. But yeah, so it was one of those things that well, it was your fault that I attended. Thank you very much again.
All my fault. Why are you blaming me? No, you just literally said to me one day, I'd love to go to Connect. And I said, well, why don't you go? And you went, well, it's cost a lot of money for hotels. And I says, well, I've got a spare room. Just go in the spare room. And you're like, I've run out of reasons.
I couldn't say no. I could not say no at that point. But no, it was one of those things that I wanted to do, and I thought I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll be at the VR Mecca. I'll be there near Facebook and this, that, and the other. And what it turned out to be is exactly what you've just said, more of just a huge celebration with all of the people from the VR community that I got lifelong memories from that.
Yeah, exactly. And Meta's like, it's a bit orchestrated, right? You turn up at a certain time, you queue up, you go in, you watch the things, you've got demos you want to see because you're on site, and there's a whole bunch of demos. I played all the demos. I played Deadpool, Reach, the new Star Wars one, the pod racing Star Wars one. What else did I play? Played all of them.
You see, that's the thing. So
I played all the demos, and that was great, right? I played some demos. I've got to talk about those, but I wrote the fellow devs. But I played the demos. Ate some good food. Honestly, but the conversations and the people are where it's at, and that whether you're in campus or out of campus, as long as you're with the people, it's all awesome. So you can be at the hotel over breakfast and have better conversations.
And that's the thing. So if I'd have gone this year, because Meta didn't really show anything for VR, they didn't go massive on VR at all this year, so they didn't take any of the creators out.
Yeah, no, they didn't do any creators. It was, I don't think, they didn't have really anything to show. The creators.
No. The thing is,
it's quite a controversy, and I don't agree with what Meta did. Right, fundamentally, I have to put that out there, right? I think you've got a precedence, and I've seen it up and down over the years. And you should always invite the content creators out and give them opportunity to share the joy of the new.
They did. No, that's the thing. It's just they concentrated on a different kind of content.
And that's what I noticed. Half of the people that, I don't know, a large percentage of the people there seemed to be fashion designers and people that were interested in glasses and digital screen technology and. No, because Meta obviously have a successful product there. I mean, just being straightforward here, it's really, the Ray-Bans have been a huge success. They're on version 3 or whatever. I think they call it version 2. But it's the third iteration of the glasses.
I've got version 2, yeah. That's the ones I have. And then if you count them.
And then they show, screens glasses as well. I mean, it's like, and all sorts of designs for Oakley's and stuff that are just frankly epic. If I was, I ski rarely, I would love to have a pair of ski glasses with some glasses in. I'd love to,
with a heads-up display.
Stuff, but just being able to have a center of eye perspective and still look cool and go running and things like that, with all the waterproofing and sweatproofing and stuff. I mean, these things are just like, no wonder they're successful. They've got real utility for taking video. If I was GoPro, I'd be panicking right now because they're basically effectively dead. right? The stabilization, the quality of the video, and the form factor makes them a no-brainer. Not to mention AI questions, AI, voice remote control. That you don't need to touch anything. Positional awareness of where the photos are being taken through your phone, and I don't know. There's a whole bunch of features, and they're getting
that's one of the things I actually wanted to probe you about. I don't know how much you can or can't talk about, but so from what I gather, it's one eye. Yeah, it's just the right eye with the visual on the glasses.
Yeah, so I came out of the keynote and it was getting late by that point because they did the keynote in the evening, and I basically said, well, I need to go and see the glasses. I'm just getting in the queue. It's some how long it takes. Right, so I just went and joined the queue, and it took hours.
Yeah,
and it was 2 hours, but fortunately, do you know Sacred Ghost? Sacred Ghost.
Yes, yeah, Tony.
Yeah, so Tony, we happened to join the queue next to Tony and some other cool people. Black VR were just behind us or whatever. So we had plenty of people to speak to. So it's like the time passed, and they had this incredible DJ set, which you can't even make up because there was Duplo. Is it Duplo? Was doing a set in the evening, but it's got all this visualization and bass and stuff. Basically, we were in a queue party. The bass was high, the party was great, the visuals were stunning, and we were just a couple of hours we were having a party, basically. I was dancing in the queue at various points. There was great MDM stuff going on and whatever. So it was pretty, smooth flowing, but they were putting people through as fast as they could. So you queued up for ages, right? Fine, because there's lots. And also all press got in front of us. So whenever a press person appeared of any meaning, I'd want that. Truthfully, because
at the end of the day,
wider audience, and it's their big deal, right? So of course I want the people to go earlier, and so Upload VR were there, went and settled over a bit, etc. And that's good. But yeah, we queued up for a while, and then as you start to get to the front of the queue, they scanned your badges and checked your wrist size. So they've got this sizing system. I don't know how it works honestly, but I was a size 3. I don't know what that means, but maybe there's a size 2 and a size 4. I don't know. But anyway, I was a size 3, and because the band has to fit fairly tight, it has to touch your.
Yeah.
If you look on the inside of the band, it's got metal all the way around it, like sensors all the way around it. It looks a bit like the Apple Watch sensor, but thin, right? But they have to touch all the way around your arm against your skin. You've got to get it fairly tight and strap it on. If you could over tighten it, and I'm sure some people had it too tight, and equally, I think Callum's was slightly too loose. So there's a balance of just getting it the right tight. It's not uncomfortable. It's like a tight watch strap. Certainly not uncomfortable. But so yeah, you get your size, and then I got the glasses, and I could immediately start playing with them. So it wasn't, it's like put them on your head, charge it up. They paired it with a phone specially for you. They sort of cleared down a phone, paired it, and gave you the headset. So you're basically getting a clean operating system perspective with. And then this tell you some of the basic moves. I don't know whether you've gathered all this, but this move, pinch twice on these 2 fingers specifically, not this one. This is how you start the. I'm doing it very accentuated here on the screen, but this is how you open up the visual. So you go tap tap, and you could do that very very softly, like tap tap. It's not like a great big. It's just like you just go tap tap on these 2 fingers, and obviously, it doesn't need to see them, so you could have them behind your back or at your side, and just tap. So wherever you are, you just do this tap tap, and then it will bring up the screen. The screen's monocular. Look, I can describe how this works. There's a little thing you could go with me on here, right? If you put your hand right in front of your face there, like that, right? Just do that, right? And then put your thumb at the right hand side of your hand, right? That is the monocularness. So if you closed your right eye completely, you wouldn't see the thumb, right? If you close your left eye, you would see the screen really clearly, right? But if you've got them both open, you can still see your thumbs there. So, but it's a comfortable distance away. So now just move it slightly away and focus on it so you can see your thumb clearly. And if you look at it, you can see your thumb crystal clear. That's about the distance of the screen. So the screen's super clear, super high res, pretty colourful, slightly transparent. I'd say, Photoshop, I would say, 30 to 40% transparency on it. But plenty clear enough to see even in direct sunlight, but in darkness pretty much just solid. But really really clear and big enough. It's like a hand sized away from you, so it's big enough that you can see what's going on. and you know, so after giving this one, this is the one that opens up, right? The rest of it is like having a joystick on your thumb. So you push forward to go up, pull backwards to go down, swipe left, swipe right, like using your thumb as a thing. You don't have to touch it, but you know, it helps if you do, because you get that sort of self haptic. So once the menu's up, that you just like scroll down, up, whatever, left or right, and all the settings and options, and then these fingers, not these. This is to open. These fingers select. You just tap it once. So you quickly get to, you know, because when you're scrolling, you can quickly tap these two.
Mm-hmm.
Not obvious, but it is when you think. So you scroll where you want to go and then tap, scroll, tap. You get a little bit of haptic feeling there. The other thing which is beautiful is because you put it on your dominant hand where you're going to do the gestures, it has vibration in it. So you get a vibration when you select, you get confirmation in the vibration. So it feels like
that's a nice touch. That is a nice touch, yeah.
It's very nice, and it means that you're sure of what you've done's work, not over your own haptics. And then there's a whole bunch of apps. Some of them incredibly impressive. My personal favourite was the maps, because you know it's like being in Grand Theft Auto. Suddenly you've got a little HUD of a map, like from above, like a little circle that is you in the middle. And if you turn your head to the right, the arrow turns towards where you're looking. And if you walk forwards, it's like walking along the map. So it's
like
just
you say, the use case it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like having it's like literally having a Grand Theft Auto map in the corner of your view. The view will go to sleep if you can set time and perhaps even unlimited, but to save battery, if after seconds, whatever the setting is by default or whatever, it will actually turn off again, and you have to turn it back on. But if you're using it, you know, every time you click or do move, it will keep it open for you know, and it only effectively goes to sleep when you. So if you're walking along, for instance, you could tell it to have the map on permanently, but you're obviously starting to burn battery, or you could just check it just by double tapping, it would come up where you were last left off. So you know the map will be there. Sleep for a bit, check it again. You know, I've got 400 feet forward or whatever. And so that was pretty neat. The other demos of note was one of the demos. So we went through all these different rooms teaching you things. So there's a really cool demo where and this, you know, I've got the Ray-Bans as well, so you'd appreciate that. You know, you just sort of take a picture and it's took the picture, right? There's no framing or deciding what you see.
This is the thing that appeals to me. Yeah.
So you get like a preview. So when you go to camera, you know, dirt camera. Well, you can ask audio, by the way. Everything's very easy on audio. You sort of hold and it comes up the AI. You go load the camera, right? So you can do it quietly or just with your fingers. And that's pretty cool. So you've got camera up and it gives you a viewfinder view, and you can sort of you can pinch and turn to zoom in and out on it.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm like.
So you can get the frame right and also position, because you've got a preview. You can position your head to get the rule of 2/3 and just get everybody in shot or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just click take, right, and it takes the picture. So that's really, really cool. And same for video. That was.
I saw them do turn this into a cartoon, and then so the camera would then put like a cartoon filter on there. That's cool.
All of the AI features you'd want. You know, what am I looking at? Can you describe this thing? And you know, sometimes it would actually do something in the visual feed. So it uses that in the AI to say. Like there was one where you could look at a chair and you could go, can you turn this chair blue or whatever? And you ask the AI and it would process and then come up with the blue version of the red chair or whatever. So you know, it's doing processing and previewing, which is really cool. The one that's actually most impressive was, and because I've done seen a lot of this stuff, was the live translation. It was impressive for a couple of reasons. The demo had one person directly in front of you talking to you, and another person talking at the same volume or louder to the left, but it was only translating the person you look at, right? So it wasn't trying to translate the whole room. It was beamforming the microphones towards where you were looking and then translating that, filtering out everything else, including it was set up on purpose, obviously, but there was a noisy aircon in there and the noises going on. So it was isolating noise and then doing real-time translation, and the translation was bang on and very, very instant. It was constantly, and apparently that does that well, so even cleverer, right? But I can see that is extremely useful in a lot. You know, just think about the use case. If you've got accessibility, that is gold mine, right? Absolutely amazing, right? or hard of hearing or whatever. Just like if you can't hear at all, imagine having real time subtitles. Just incredible use case. But even if you're, you've got perfectly normal hearing, if you're in a very loud bar or you just want to concentrate on what's being said or just remember it, you're in a meeting or something and you actually want, do you mind if I record this so that we've got the evidence down to go to prosecution and sort all of our problems? I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along here, but there are reasons that you want to record things, right? And that'd be really, really cool. Or just remember stuff. It's like you said, can I just record that and remember it for later? Tell me where the address was again. And, it's like you don't have to write anything down. You're not got notepads. That was really, really powerful. And I think got a lot of use cases just doing real time things, but also incredibly impressive in the technology. It's a real shame they had so many demo problems on the stage because my experience with it wasn't at all like that.
It's not even close.
It just worked and did everything as it was supposed to do. So it's a real shame that they're exposed to be like. But I thought it was amazing. I don't hold them for any of that. I mean, it's a absolutely wonderful thing to do. With essentially a beta version, non-released, on private servers and things, trying to demo and in an environment where suddenly thousands of people come in and start using the Wi-Fi or wake up all their devices. It's like it's a tough thing to do, but I'm glad they do it, and I would encourage them never to stop. Live demos are brilliant. I think it's bad that other companies have started to shy away from that. Much better to be real than fake.
See, that's it, and this is one of the reasons why, and I wish I went. Don't get me wrong, I do wish I went, but this is one of the reasons why I'm mildly glad that I didn't choose to go this year, or didn't get. I didn't choose. It was pushed out of it by the financing issue of not having a job. But so it was one of the things that without the content creators there, I would have been chasing the experience I had last year, and I wouldn't have been able to recreate that. And then
I think you got pretty close. I think you got pretty close. You would a lot of the I don't know. It is a shame. I've probably got to give context here. It's like for me, for a content creator going into something, the content creators are mostly their world, right? That's they're the people they're going to get tips from. They're the people that they admire. They're the people that they want to have conversations about what they're playing, whatever. Like for me, my world is the development side of this mostly.
That's the thing. I wouldn't have had the same access as you.
Yeah, for me, hanging out with other people that make games is a wonderful thing because we can all learn off each other, we can appreciate each other, and we can there's knowledge about how to run sales or the things that just really matter to us as individuals. But ultimately, because we spend so long with each other because we're at various events, we become really good friends, and we're always there getting each other's back, and I think that's a wonderful thing. And I really put a lot of effort into doing what I can to give forwards all the time with the dev community. So for me, it was really sad not to see a lot of my friends in the content creator. Then frankly, I think it is super silly of Meta not to have invited them, had them there for growing.
It makes sense if all of the content creators
they've had good years and bad years, and this year they've not really got much to show. And
well, that's just the thing. The content that they had to show, they gave the content creators access to it months ago. People were playing Deadpool.
A lot of people were flown to or paid to go to Cologne and see Deadpool out there, and they did do a lot.
Exactly.
So in London that were supported or whatever.
I get why Meta didn't push for content creators. I did see a lot of people that create worlds.
I think Meta are missing the bigger point. It's such a good, healthy industry thing to have the optimism and the teamwork behind the scenes. Our conversations. Fundamentally, Meta doesn't build this alone. They build it through the community, and that is devs investing money, time, and effort, and it is the community getting other people excited. And some of those communities are small, but everything's valuable, right? Some of the biggest, literally all the big guys today started off with one follower, right? And it wasn't that long ago, and so you've got to see the bigger picture. And I'm super proud of watching that journey or even being slightly part of it. I really enjoy to watch somebody join it, enjoy it and grow, and anything that tarnishes that makes me sad, deeply sad on an individual level, because there's people pouring their heart out, essentially, people like yourselves doing podcasts because they're so passionate about the industry, and you just deserve to be rewarded for that and to be part of the bigger community and grow. And Meta have a responsibility to support that, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And it makes me sad when they don't, and it makes me incredibly happy. So I would encourage, if Meta even slightly listens to this, I would encourage you to put on the events because they matter, and support the industry as much as possible, because we're all in this together. It's not a single outcome. And there are many passionate people like tiny business, and there's exciting stuff happening. It's not just about Meta. I'm really excited about Google and what they're doing. I think Samsung clearly, can't talk about too much of this, but it's clearly an interesting device, and will enter its first market. I have signed a lot of Google NDAs, so I'm going to slow down there. But, I'm excited that Android XR is an open platform. These are all public things. Else, but and that the opportunity there is for the hardware manufacturers, first party or whatever they decide they're going to do to make really good headsets. I'm really very excited. I want to bring Titan Owls to that platform, and I really want to bring Titan Owls to Apple as well. It's a great operating system. I love my headset. My current absolute jam is watching Alien Earth. Every Tuesday I am ready to go, and I've just watched Alien Earth yesterday inside the science study room, because Disney have added a new environmental space, which is the where all the glass chambers and everything with all the eggs and alien study and stuff is there. Oh my god! And before then I was like looking at being on Saturn, watching Saturn, and then I typically watch alien stuff on the moon. It's just, I love that headset, and I've shown more and more people the weekend video, and everyone comes off going, yeah, right, wow.
No, I've not been in since February last year, I want to say. So there is so much.
I'm still loving it. If it can get light and cheap, it will sell bucket loads, because the operating system's stunning.
I need to come back and get my face back
but
in.
I've seen some good stuff. I'll tell you what I did do. I haven't spoken about this. I played the Bloomhouse VR app on the Quest 3.
It's in Horizon, that one, isn't it?
No, it's not in Horizon. It's a dedicated Bloomhouse app. And it's basically, right, okay, this is what's cool about it. It's basically a cinema screen. So I did a demo, and there was 2 films to watch, both of them about a minute. You have to judge it for. So I sat on a sofa with a bunch of other people, and we all sat in the same space. But it scans the room, so it knows the room. So it knows the exact room you're in, all the walls and everything's all scanned, and you can position your screen anywhere in the room. So on the wall, on bigger or whatever. And then as the film's playing, the room fades in between scenes. So there was a load of examples. I can't remember all. There's this bit where the computer was being hacked, and it had this matrix stuff going along the walls, and all the hacking computer screens and stuff along the walls, all subtly in your peripheral, but really cool. It was like taking the concept of like a backlight on a TV that just spreads the light into the room, but taking it much further into the whole room, and like the horror. Wow. So there were a number of other things that went on in that first one. I think it was Megan 2 or watching. And the second one was Black Phone, and it's this guy's in a cell, and there's a bottle spinning on the floor, and the room turned into the actual cell that was on the so you were like in the same room as the actual thing on the telly, and that was constantly changing throughout the film. Really, really cool, and I am so looking forward to watching movies in Blumhouse, horrors in Blumhouse, because of that.
It
takes that concept of what I was saying about sat on an alien spacecraft watching the movie with one scene into an interactive scene going on around you, which is really, really special, I think. That's really cool. I would check that out as soon as it's available.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend that will absolutely make his day.
Yeah, Callum and I.
Let him know about that.
And I think he wants to watch those films again in this format, because it's just, there was like things I could argue that weren't perfect. It was like sometimes they went a little bit far. It's like there's this bit where the bottle spins in the film, and it also spins on the floor, and it's like it became a little bit of a distraction at that point.
It took you away from the content,
okay. But when it was done well, it was just as a background thing. It was done really well and very impressive. As I say, it felt like the TV was leaking into the room, and that's a really special thing, and I think will be a big hit.
What I loved about the Disney Plus app on the Vision Pro, the way they set the environment in, really did. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to sit there and watch an entire Disney movie, but it looked great. And then the 3D, I'm a 3D nerd, so the fact that you get that as well really makes me want a Vision Pro, but I can't justify the money.
Do you like horror?
So-
Does that sound like your jam?
Horror, yeah. I'm a big fan of horror movies, so
You
something
can
I'll
imagine
definitely
what
checking out when it
horror
goes on.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for the ring where it literally climbs out of screens and craps your pants in the middle of the film. I mean, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. So I am
another
conscious
level.
of time. We are 6
Oh.
minutes to 10.
Well, you wanted to talk about the glasses.
So wait, what?
Haven't started. What about the Orion? No, it's okay.
Well, this is
I
the
thought the
thing.
glasses were very cool. I didn't think they were too heavy or too big. That's my.
I was going to say, were they overly thick or were they still quite wayfairy?
I know they're a hit for one reason. I put the glasses off and put my own glasses back on, and at some point, like within 10 minutes, I tried to double click my finger to bring the screen up.
I've got one super important question about the glasses. Are you and Mike going to America like you did with the Vision Pro to get a pair?
Yeah, that is. It's the problem because you've actually got to go to the place and get the trial before you can buy them.
Yeah.
You have to go in, get fitted, and then they get you them in.
I think it would be worth
so.
it. I think I have to be realistic. It would be worth it, and it'd be very cool. But I'm not developing for it, and it's a bit of a long journey for something that I'm not going to make stuff like the Vision Pro or like. It'll be a personal thing, and it's a long way to go and import. But I'd love a pair. Honestly, I think they're, essentially they're on a path to being as small as the other Ray-Bans, right? So they're slightly bigger, slightly more heavy. But my God, if they've got use cases, they're very cool. For some people, they would be. Honestly, for some people, they're just a must-buy, right? People that are hard of hearing, people that do a lot of photography or content creators. Like content creators, definitely. Right, if you're doing anything that requires reviewing and stuff, you can frame everything, you can record video there and then you can transcribe it as well. It's like it's a no-brainer, right? You just you're doing these type of things. So for people like no-brainer, yeah. If you find the use case, it's worth jumping at version 1. I feel like I'm so happy this is here and become real, and I'll probably wait for them to be the UK and then just buy them there.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things, because obviously the Ray-Bans you can get now about 250 quid. The Ray-Bans you can get
I
now.
know people that were at the event that brought, because the Ray-Ban version 3s were on sale at the event, and there were some other benefits you could get. You could laser the case, and you had the entire range was there as well, so that's useful. You wouldn't necessarily get every single one of the range at the Ray-Ban shops or whatever. You might need to order things. So I do know people that just brought them there, and then they're an amazing device, right? And the new ones are slightly louder and slightly better quality, and all the rest of it, and the square framing and things is interesting. I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to wait for them to be in the UK and then buy. I don't think I need to rush out to America desperately for them, but I do want a pair in my life.
But comparing that to what you can get now, is an extra 500 quid's worth of tech in there? Like, do you think it is worth the money?
I've completely dismissed I mean, like I say, I've had the Ray-Ban ones, I've had the Ray-Ban 2s, and I do make use of them. I've got the transparent pair, which are pretty cool. I've completely dismissed the Ray-Ban 3s because I want the one screen in it.
Yeah. So it is worth the $800.
Just being able to frame pictures, get your texts come up silently, being able to transcribe, being able to have real-time maps in the corner. I mean, just the real-time map, right? It's like just the use case of going, where am I and am I going the right direction? It's like normally you pull your phone out. You don't want to be doing that in public. I'm a little bit nervous that these devices are incredibly stealable. It's like there's nothing particularly tracking them or anything. It's like an £800 thing on your face that if somebody knows what it is, just take it. You cannot see. No matter how hard you try, I could not see the screen from the outside. It's like, a lot of the thumbnails and stuff show it, but it's like you cannot see it. I can't even see the wires. I've been this close to it with my glasses on. I took a picture on my Twitter and as close as I could get on the zoom mode, and you just can't see any light leak. You can't see the wires. It's incredibly when it's off. It's just plain.
I assume they weren't crazy enough to make one lens darker than the other.
No, it's just
Because that would mess me
they do
right up.
self-dim in the sun out of the box. They dim in the sun, but no, they are fully transparent, fully just a pair of
And
glasses. When it's not on, they're a
the
pair of glasses.
image,
And then magically, click, screen. It's like, whoa. And I wouldn't bother about the monocular at all. It's not something you should put off.
that was one of the things that I was.
Oh, it's not a monocular, it'd be rubbish. It's perfectly fine.
We've all done VR games where something happens in one lens and not the other, and it drives me insane. And I was worried that
it doesn't feel
would
like
be a
that
problem
because it's like I say, arm's length away. It's like looking at the back of your hand, and it's fine. You can just concentrate on the back of your hand, and you can see it, right? And no, it's fine. And if you really want to, you can just close one eye, and you can definitely see it, right? It's like it's solid at that point. No, I wouldn't worry about that. It's certainly. I'm sure it will be.
And the frame is projecting onto the lens. It's not a special lens.
It's magic, isn't it? Because how the hell? It's not like you're looking at a screen on the lens. Definitely not.
I'm just thinking about.
You are looking at something projected, a perfectly crisp, very colourful screen projected, 30% transparency.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about prescriptions and things like that. Like obviously, book.
I'm told it goes from +4 to -4. But that's a lot of people's prescriptions, but definitely everybody and that sort of stuff. But they're big enough to go behind glasses, actually, which is weird. Not sure why you would want to do double glasses, but potentially you could, they are big enough because they're fairly big glasses. You could get small glasses behind them and help with your correction.
I'm just thinking book
that is a bit sad, honestly, because you've got this wonderful screen that's transcribing, and if you've got eyesight problems, it's not necessarily helping you.
No, well, this is why I'm wondering: is it something that's projecting onto the lens, or is it the lens itself? Because Book changes his lenses. Is that going to be a super expensive upgrade for him, or
I believe it's the lens itself, which is why they needed a lens monocular.
That's going to be a shame
but maybe not. Maybe it's something in front or behind. I don't know. I didn't have enough time to like tear it apart. But I have to say, as disappointing as that will be for some people, I think Buck also has a stigmatism. I don't know.
His eyes are just completely broken.
But and it's sad that. But I don't. I think. I wore these, and I have an eyesight problem. Right, I'm minus something. Right. And the screen's slightly blurry for me. It's maybe the +4 or -4 gets close enough. The stigmatism's a little bit more hard, but maybe again, maybe it's just a case of getting the default ones with contact lenses. I don't know. There's options, right? And hopefully they'll expand that range out as it gets more popular and help people. It's such a shame to have something that's effectively a world-leading accessibility device that actually will put out some people.
Yeah. I was thinking about the X-Real Airs. They essentially have the nose clip, which you can just clip off, and you can get prescription lens nose clip that will sit in front of it, and that will
exactly. And there are after-party things that do a lot of help for a lot of people, and hopefully somebody steps in and fills the void.
It's possible.
But I have to say, I imagine this will be a tiny display in the top right-hand corner or something. Just tiny. Maybe it would read text and just be a small, very small display. This is a very practical, big display in full color with a high points degree that does a lot of things, including an OS you can browse, right, through options and stuff. And the fact that they've got any choices from -4 to +4, whatever, is a bloody miracle for most people. You wouldn't.
But this is the thing for me.
But just the whole glasses.
Where these come in. So the X-Reals, they are £300 to £500, depending on the model you get. And depending on the device you connect it to, you can literally have a small, tiny screen off in the corner, and you can have your Google Maps on it, or whatever, and you can walk around. All right, they are darker. They are much, much darker.
I do a lot of traveling, and I've got an X-Real 1 Pros, the newest ones, and they're phenomenal. I watch films when I'm traveling and all the time, right? And they're all quite rare. Bearing in mind, on a flight back from San Francisco, people were stopping me and asking what they were. So it's like you would have thought that
Mhm.
flight would have a lot of things, and that includes one of the ladies doing the serving actually came up and what are these? Can you explain them to me? And I'll let them look through it and whatever. So they are very cool. They are very, very cool, but we sometimes forget we're on the bleeding edge of knowing about these things and purchasing them as early adopters, and a lot of not freely available in the airport shop, for instance, right?
Mhm.
But how is
about
what Meta doing dramatically different to that?
it's Ray-Ban.
Mhm.
The frame is essentially like it's a stylish frame.
I had this conversation. My Meta and Ray-Ban's an interesting one. They've both benefited from each brand. So,
Mhm.
like Meta looks so much stronger having a trendy brand like Ray-Ban in their portfolio. But they've gone up what people's perspective of what Meta.
Mhm.
Opposite side, you've got Ray-Ban, who are fairly traditional, cool-looking eyes, suddenly doing technology at the cutting edge. It looks better for them too. They are not looking bad for this. They're looking like they've got state-of-the-art screen tech, state-of-the-art audio, state-of-the-art AI. It's good for them too. So you've got this, and Oakley for that. You've got this weird symbiotic thing where two very different companies suddenly really benefit each other massively. It's a lovely relationship to see. I'm pretty sure that Apple will make their own glasses, and Apple branded. Why wouldn't it? They could.
Of course.
They can be as good, right? And Apple have got a strong enough brand that do it. I'm sure Google their own, and all of their super duper partners, like Petrol.
Mhm.
I think honestly, Meta have a 2-year probably advantage on this, or start pouring into the market with quality.
Oh yeah.
But the OSs are catching up. Android XR will work with these glasses as well, right? And a real advantage of Play Store. And Apple will also have, they've done it on the watch effectively, but they'll have like a watch type interface in full screen or whatever, or even more advanced. Full graphic is here. Better have the Orion technology. So I just think I don't see. As I say, it's like I like the Meta glasses. Period. Bought them personally. Actually, one with a screen in it is so much more useful. So much more useful. So it's like, why would you?
Like I say, I want them. I don't know if I can justify the extra 500 quid when I could buy a pair of Vectrials for less.
Well, exactly. And it's the use case, right? If you were on the tube every day and you want to watch movies, X-Reels are your thing, but you've got to sort of plug them in. It'd be nice if the X-Reels were wireless and all the rest of it. So
sure. Yeah, I get that.
And the technology, I've got X-Reels, the technology on the X-Reels, no doubt about it, pretty cool, right? It's not, you'd want them, it sticks out quite a lot, and you'd want it to be in the screens really. And X-Reels' opportunity now is to try and do this waveguide stuff in the screens and get that wide enough OV, which isn't there for anyone, but you can see the path. You can project forward, Andy, and imagine you and I sat having a beer watching the Connect 11 or whatever it is, and saying, "Oh look, they've got lighter, better quality screen with more apps in it, right, and more partnerships with Garmin and Strava or whatever, right?" It's like you can see that future's already happening, and they're not messing around. I would not have put money on this being in the market this year. I would have put money on them showing something, but the fact they've shown something and they're doing it now, and you can pre-order it and buy it, is phenomenal progress. And I don't see that slowing down every year from now on. They're pushing hard.
Yeah.
They've got,
but this is
can't really sit around because they've got a few years head lead on it, right? They're not, hand on heart here, I really want Meta to be great software developers, but their software development track is quite buggy, and they're not quite, they do good software, but they don't quite get it as polished as Apple, and they don't quite get it as fast to market and proven as Google sometimes. And it's like, but if they can address that and get better and better at it, which I think they're doing, the future is looking great. They're certainly doing interesting things. I don't know. It's difficult, but I'm a real big fan of competition, and the fact that we've got Deckard or Frame or what we called, and that operating system, and we've got Google, and we've got Meta. It's a really, really helpful. Really, really healthy, because all it will do is make software stack solid. The integrations are great. But the other side, it's going to be a competitive world. How much of this stuff will plug into your Apple phone? Probably Google has the same, right? So, but they are developing their own stack, and they've not got a dead ecosystem. WhatsApp is incredibly popular, right? And so is their Instagram, building their own Mac system. I think that's in partnership with. Perhaps it's Garmin, several partners in it. But all the other things are actually in device and useful, like taking pictures and stuff.
I was going to grab you about that, actually. So I was going to, when we did the questions at the end, I was going to be like, oh yeah, Bradley Lynch says, does Titan Isles work on the new Steam frame? But you and I are in the same situation where we've gone all nerdy and we have 3D printed the Roy controllers.
I actually saw them to America with me. Show a few people.
I saw Zim playing with them. What do you reckon?
What do I reckon?
Yeah.
They're controllers, aren't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, but you've seen me behind the scenes having a chat with Scorpio about some of my thoughts.
I've had the pleasure, because we've just got this working index of using this, and there are a few things that are wrong with this. People love them, but the squeeze here against the lack of, we've actually got code in it to say, is this a squeeze controller? If it is, where's the dead zone? And different people have different strengths and different positions on here, so like we have to have software to deal with dead zone, because this squeeze is critical for our games. Not for every game, right? Some games don't care, but for us, it's like pulling the bow, like jet packing. These things are. This is lovely. The squeeze, I'm not so sure about. I'm glad they've gone this direction with the squeeze.
I've very often got so annoyed when I've been climbing a wall or something, and I've let go on the index, and my hand is still stuck to the wall. Yeah.
Also, I mean, the same with the other pad thing. I never quite understood why the
touchpad exists.
In this, it's just like you miss it. We use this as buttons and stuff sometimes, and there aren't quite enough menu options things. So I think they've addressed just basically looking at the controllers, right? Our lack of second button was a problem, because where do you bring up the Oculus menu against the Steam menu? Address that, because there's plenty of buttons on there. So you've got your system buttons and you've got your option buttons, which is lovely. There are plenty of buttons here, and fundamentally this can be used as a left, right, up and down, because it's a D. So that's really good. So rarely do we need the left ones, but there are some functions like extend rope, lower rope, and things.
It's at the end of the day, it's aimed at it's rumored essentially that it is essentially going to be a Steam Deck that you strap to your face, and it gives you the ability to
right. It's like
it's some parity to a controller.
Yeah, so that you can play 2D games, and you've got all.
Which is fine. I get that. I totally get that.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. sit on the holodeck and play proper games. It's like brilliant, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And you've got to remember this is a $400 device, and to buy a TV that's big enough to put on your wall or whatever can cost that much money easily. I mean, I could.
Now What's your thought then?
This is parity, so that you can play the ones with left bumper, right trigger.
Yeah, which is once again, I
get a problem, because you're going to use this one and it feels comfortable, but you could pull both of them, and the dev can treat them both as the same. So it's
my natural resting point for this trigger is kind of riding both buttons. And to
that's okay, though. For most things, these will be gun triggers, and both of them will just.
Yeah. So the top one is a little too high, and the bottom one is a little too low, and that line in the middle just seems a little bit awkward to me. For comfort, it's
the problem is we've all got different shapes of hands and legs, and it's like there is no.
Yeah.
There's no like.
I feel like that top button could be smaller, and that line.
Well, we have to presume I'm taking a big
Low.
we have to presume that they've sampled it on 10,000 people and this is the most comfortable for the majority of them, right? It's like they're not going to like it probably doesn't work for everyone. It's a bit like the glasses we were talking about, right? They've tried to cover a large range, but it's not perfect for everyone.
Yeah.
For me, my natural resting position is with my thumbs is actually here, and the grip's on there. So for me, it feels pretty natural. I'm slightly low.
Do you like the length?
Truthfully, I'm about here, but we're also presuming that this is final, obviously.
Yeah, I am a big fan of the length.
The EV's gone and everything, but maybe they're just, we don't truthfully know the state of play they're in. Maybe they're doing mass play testing right now and trying to work out whether they can make it final. And that's fine.
I can liken the length.
Maybe they're ready to announce next week and there's nothing left to do. They're just waiting for Half-Life 3 to drop.
Well, that's it. It'll be released with this, so everybody buys one. Anybody who's used the Kiwi longer grips.
I hope they make Half-Life 3 2D and VR. Actually,
this is what I'm thinking. Yeah, because the thing is, it'll be playable on both in VR and 2D.
I mean, I'm definitely playing that in VR. Would never play the 2D version compared to the VR, but I don't. I play games. I mean, we all play games.
Yeah.
I didn't turn to VR and then say I'm never going to play a 2D app ever again because that's the end of life as we know it. There are lots of things that are just frankly better in 2D.
Well, some of my fondest memories have been playing 2D games with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a really good example. Dead Cells in VR, right? Or Binding of Isaac. It's like that's. Form factor for me. It's a Steam Deck or a Switch is perfect, right? And it's like it's much more of a casual, you don't want to be in a headset for that, right? I'm not saying that you couldn't, some people perhaps have done that, right? But it doesn't feel like the ideal form factor for those type of games.
Do you know the crazy thing?
Other games, it's like I wouldn't play it any other way. Like Resident Evil, there's no way I'm playing that on 2D flat. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that? I mean, don't rule it out because there's a mod that I actually was playing for Hollow Knight recently, which they've also just had the Silksong game come out as well, which is lovely.
Yeah, I'm not really. I like that song.
Yeah, I suck at the game and I don't really play it, but I had Hollow Knight in my library. And when I saw there was a VR mod for it, I thought, let's give it a go, and it really actually works. Yeah, it's a 2D game, and it's probably best.
I don't want to rule out it. There are a lot of things that will work, and there is definitely a use case for playing. Like I want to see the shame Apple's not really big into games, and I really hope that they keep heading towards the light. There are a lot of good signs. They've got a team called Metal for converting AAA games and stuff. They just never quite get it right because I don't think they're. Truthfully, I don't think they invest behind it. I don't think they invest by the dev roles. I don't think they invest by the marketing. I don't think they push it to try and make it work well. I just don't think they put the money behind it, but they passively get it from mobile, right? Which is fine. I mean, a real sign there is look how many mobile games they've got and how many dev roles they've got. It's like it's not even. It's just ridiculous, honestly. But hopefully, couch gaming. It's a wonderful thing, right? We all love couch games. Mm-hmm. There are so many great couch games. My latest one's Ep.44, which is great co-op, and we keep going back to Switch one. Got
Heave-ho. That was when I was saying when we've played 2D games, we drew way too much attention. WASD playing Heave-ho.
I played it recently. It's just like there's nothing quite like getting your friends on the couch, but you can do that in VR now, and that's getting easier and easier to do. So there's also the Switch does some incredible things, right? The Switch. I brought the latest Unity game, which is called. I think it's called Survivor Kids. Excuse me, forgot that wrong. But I think it's called Survivor Kids. I've got a Switch 2, and my kids still have Switch 1s, right? I'm not going to buy everybody Switch 2s. They're really expensive. But what you can do is my Switch 2 can start the Survivor Kids game, and they can join on their Switch 1. And my Switch 2 then casts their screen, so they get a Switch 2 quality game running on their Switch. That is a remarkable experience. Like, it's like we're all playing the same game in local gameplay, but it's running off the Switch 2. So those type of technologies should start to ease in on Apple Vision and stuff. I mean, I've done plenty of demos where I've got into the same place with the personas and stuff. every time the Persona upgrades, I go in with somebody and check out the Persona's upgrades, and they've got remarkable. I mean, it's almost stupid now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, and we tend to
Honest.
bring up a web browser or a movie or whatever we share, right? And anything that's Apple Share will do all that and pin against the wall. Nowadays, you've got like clocks against the wall. I've been taking panoramas, and you can stick a view to your wall, and you can walk up to it and look out the window. You can see this like panorama you took and 3D photos, just like cool stuff, right? I've got the latest version of the Meta, the 81. Anyway, I've got that version 81, and you can pictures on the wall and stuff like that. So you can see the world is getting more social and more capable, widgets and things like that.
Yeah.
Stuff around me. Like when I put my Vision Pro on here, I've got all this stuff going on, like the clock on the wall and the stops on the wall. That's cool.
It's stuff like that I'm like, are they going to announce a cheaper Vision Pro? Because I really want to get into that world. I really do.
Yeah.
But at this point,
if it existed today that I could play Split Fiction in the Vision Pro with my daughter who's at university, because she's like, I don't know, halfway or whatever, I would totally do it. It's like, I wouldn't even question it, right? I would just like launch the game, put my Vision Pro on, she'd put hers on, and we would be in there together. That is not here today, right? It's even in the Quest, it's really hard to party. It's really impossible to share games. I've just talked about one game example where my daughter doesn't even own the game. It's just casted from one device. So I think there's a future that isn't quite here. And honestly, it's not the devs that are doing this. It's mostly the platforms. For me, I would give out copies of Windlands 2 to multiple people in a family share scenario. So you could buy, like, I don't know, buy the family share version, half the family share pack, because it makes more sense to me that it works that way, right? It's like a better world, right? It's awkward when you've got, you need 4 players to play together and stuff. It shouldn't be like that, right? It should be a better world. I don't know. We could go on about that for a while, but it's a tough space out there. Fundamentally, everybody buys it's helping, but it's like equally you sort of want these systems to be in place so you can share with your friend and play together and be in the same headset, even if it's not necessarily fully paid license, or it's like I quite like the idea of renting software. Honestly, I quite like the idea that part of the subscription services come with more copies for your friends. Part of if you and I both have, this is where the Apple Vision really plays off. If you and I both have Apple TV and access to all the Apple TV license stuff, we can both watch an Apple TV thing together. Because you've got a license, I've got a license. You can just go share that movie, and it will sync it and put it in a movie theater, right? And you're a Persona sat next to you. That needs to happen for games as well, because fundamentally, the joy of VR, specifically VR, actually, the joy of VR is actually playing with, can't be with them. But I still play the Sim Racing once a month, and I absolutely love it. Obviously doing other things, but I went to last, been doing that for many years now. Every Wednesday I play Phasmophobia or one of the other VR games. Though sometimes we do things like Repro or a 2D one, but the fact is that we all have to buy licenses. We all have to agree what we're going to play. We all have to, it's like, it shouldn't be that, really. It should be a social world where I think Walkabout Mini Golf's brilliant for that. You buy the first base package, and any of the DLCs can be played by anybody, but they don't get the benefits.
Yeah. It is
a good design.
I played many of the DLCs with.
Yeah, one person buys it, the rest of the people play it, but they can't collect the balls or the sticks. They're still enjoying it, still loving it. So I'd love there to be more tools around being able to do things like that easier, and I'd love the market to be big enough that it seems obvious to be doing that. Truthfully,
yeah, the new Lego co-op game, that is another one of them that's it's really great to look at, but it's also you buy one license and then there is a friend demo where they can just download that, they can play on their system. You play on yours, you have to buy one copy.
And Split Fiction's a good example as well, where you can buy it. You only have to buy it once, and that your friend can get downloaded from Steam. So there are examples of studios doing it, and I think it's a wonderful stuff to be able to do that. But it's hard to do that when tools aren't there. Do any? Yeah.
Anybody can figure out. I'm confident it is you. Right. So yes, it's now nearly 10:30. So anybody who's listening, if you do have any questions for any of us, or definitely ask John stuff because you listen to us all the time. Then please do get those in the chat. And in the meantime, John, we've obviously talked at great length. Tell us about Titan Isles. Where can we find it? When can we find it? This is your time to scream from the rooftops even further about.
Wow. It's on PC and Quest. Go and favourite it on either of them, and then at least you'll be updated when it goes on sale. Worst case, if you can afford to buy it and check it out, amazing, and leave a review, even better. Spread the word, because we want to sell as many as possible so we can carry on making games or keep adding to Titan Isles. Yeah, like every company, it's like every VR company, right? We've spent everything we can on this, and now we need to recoup in order to carry on. We don't have millions in the bank, and we're not fortunate enough to just have free cash left, right, and centre. We really want to carry on doing it. So yeah, I appreciate every sale. It's a great game, honestly. I think you'll enjoy yourself. And if you don't, contact me. That's how I feel about it. It sort of stands up on its own to be a great game, and it's not one of those games you're going to pick up and just throw away. I think you'll be playing it in years to come on a random Wednesday, 6 years later, because you're like, should we go back into Titan Isles to go? Yeah, let's go do that, and hopefully the game will be better because we've made more DLC and more improvements. That's the goal. I'd love to be able to do that. I really want to. We've still remained really small as a company, and it's I really believe in VR, and I want to carry on making VR games. Fundamentally, everything that you do helps us do that. Sounds a bit desperate. That it's not. I don't feel desperate, but I do want. I do want to.
Oh no, not at all. It is the realistic part of the world and the business at this moment in time. There are people.
It's not even about me. If you don't buy VR games and you get down on the industry, then nobody's going to make VR games. And the warning here is as simple as that. We really need to support the industry. We need to support each other. I've tried to do that in Titan Isles. I've put advertisements in the game to try and support other people that could do with boosting as well. So I'm trying to, it's not much, probably won't make much difference, right? But I'm trying to do what I can, support people I know, and that I think we can do for the industry. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, it's people reviewing games, not being sour on things and down reviewing people. That's really never use support. Never use reviews as support, because it really hurts the devs. It's like their percentages go down. It's unfair. Just actually contact the support, and just try and be. I think we're one big happy community. Hopefully, I represent that. I'm not perfect. I've definitely made mistakes, but hopefully, I represent that. I learn from those mistakes, and I'm constantly trying to improve the industry. And I do cross the bridges. I would consider. I have friends who've known each other for a long time, and we've met before, Paul. And I consider a lot of content creators like we're all in the same boat, supporting each other. And it's the same with the community as well. Every customer that I meet at an event, we're all supporting each other. It's a lovely ecosystem. It really comes around getting the word out there, buying games and enjoying them. And hopefully everybody carries on and makes more awesome games. We'll have time and lovely symbiotic relationship. That message then hits Meta, because they will carry on making headsets, etc. They're selling games. Why wouldn't you? It's an easy system, but yeah, unfortunately, it does cost some money to get the balls rolling.
I mean, I think Meta may potentially be leaning towards a merger of the two. Maybe. I think is one of the things I said on Between Realities before the Vision Pro came out, where what Apple are doing, they are normalizing having a thing on your face and a thing in your back pocket. And at the minute, it's a battery, but then next time it could be a compute unit, and the headset weighs a lot less. And Meta could very easily go that, where all of a sudden your VR headset is a pair of Ray-Ban Wayfarers, and you've got essentially the Quest in your pocket, and Wayfarers are the display.
Yeah, I don't think we're a million
miles
away from blackout full res. I mean, they're definitely getting the pixels to a degree and the quality of the image. So it's like, can that get wide enough FOV? Probably. Can it get all-day battery life? Probably. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that may be one of the things that Meta's gearing towards, and I am all for it, by all means. As long as they don't get rid of VR, I'm all for AR, I'm all for MR, I'm all for whatever they're going to
there's a
call
lot
it
of
next.
negativity about that, but as far as I'm concerned, nearly every VR dev that could get an invite got an invite out to Metaconnect. So it wasn't like they just turned their back against gaming or anything, right? It was like we were there, we were on the ground, they really put a lot of effort into that, and I don't know. There were at one point there were 3 different events going on at the same time, and there were just different levels, different areas of the business, right? But all around gaming. So I don't think they're ignoring it at all. Casually
it'd be crazy too.
At least half of the people there were actually building. So right, it's like so. There was definitely a new cohort of trendy people doing cool things, classes, right? It's not surprising. It really isn't.
So fine. Bring the muggles in, let them see the world that we've been enjoying. Make everybody want to do.
Yeah. I did see some content creators. There were some people that were working on Horizon rooms and stuff like that. So, I bumped into people.
Yeah.
Jay done, getting things done.
Yep.
Wife were there. I saw them for a little while. That was lovely to see them. I did see Nafi for a midge of a second, but I don't know what. I see him again.
He rushed off to Seattle for the super secret Steam demos.
Steam demos. He was doing something. But yeah.
Did you see those stories? Nathy posted a picture of himself by the needle in Seattle, and everyone's just like, content creators are in Seattle because Valve are going to release a. Nathy's in Seattle. Like he travels for fun sometimes, Like don't just. Yeah. But no. John, your time is precious and wonderful, and I appreciate it so much.
Well, it's been my pleasure, honestly. It's long overdue. I always enjoy hanging out with you guys, and we've talked a lot of VR, so that's epic. It's enjoyable.
There's a very real danger we could go up until midnight. I promise you we'd keep you up. So
ends out on Thursday. I don't know what time. I should know that in the back of my head, but I think it's 6 p.m.
Usually 6 p.m. for new releases, yeah?
6 p.m.
In the UK.
Time. I'd love to hear what people think, right? I'm available. Just Twitter accounts at Hibbins. Just let me know what you think. I'm really excited to see what people think.
Yep.
You and me both. And you will most likely see a review over at thevrrealm.com as soon as it drops, and I will be live streaming the living crap out of it for as long as.
I thought this was a dossier of all the things you don't like.
That's his list of yeah.
You got this right. You got this terribly wrong. Who's your favourite Titan? I really want to know. I need to hear this from both of you, actually. So, Paul, you go first. Who's your favourite Titan? What's your favourite suit?
I've grown to Goliath. I wasn't keen in when we were playing it. When us four were playing it, it was probably my least favourite one because I couldn't get the boost in right, like the movement. But I don't know why, because it's not direct.
It's more of air jets than it is.
Than boosting, like having a constant boost. But as I was maxing them out, I was like, I'm getting used to this now. And it's become my favourite one, to be fair.
Yeah, I like it. And have you learned how to reflect the bullets?
Yeah.
And all that? Some do that. I'm like, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your favourite Titan?
I don't know the names of them, but the C one.
Oh, okay, that's Tentacron. It's the one where it's like raining and it's seeing the waves come over and stuff.
Yeah.
It's amusing because that's amusing to me because I really like that one. It's probably one of my favourite. But there were moments in that it definitely wasn't. It was like last in the list, and then certain things came together. The waves, waves actually made a difference, but they're making it rain. It's a good fight. I like that fight. What about you, Andy?
So I've been up and down on all of the suits.
Blink, isn't it? You love Blink best.
Well, this is
everybody. I'm proud of this. Everybody's going to like Stormbest first, right? They just are.
This is the thing. So,
and everybody, and that's good because it's better than Hunter, right? So we beat Hunter, and honestly, I think that was a stupidly big challenge, right? But I think Storm isn't the deepest. It's like it's the one that's easiest and it's cool, and you will always feel cool playing it, but it's not the deepest. It's not the one that requires the most skill. So I love it for that.
And so that was it. The first time I played it, I went into Hunter and I was like, yeah, this is the one. I love this one. This is familiar. I
It's
like
all having the
Hunter.
arms, isn't it? Like the way
And
the arms.
then later on in the cycle, I was all over Storm because I was like, oh yeah, Storm. I can totally use Storm now. Especially now I've upgraded Storm. I'm all about Storm. Then I leaned towards Goliath, and then by complete accident, I ended up playing Blink. And this is very, very recent, where you were doing the event the other week, and I played virtually with the guys who were down there. I just jumped in and I started playing with them. And when I joined mid game, it defaulted me to Blink, and I was like, all right, fair enough. So I was playing Blink, and I'm like, I actually kind of really like this character.
Yeah, it's the air control. You've got so much air control and the dashing in directions and stuff to move out of the way of things. It's very close to the feeling of Returnal. I like it.
Yes,
It
yeah,
feels
in a big
like
bad way.
the locomotion of Returnal. But also, like the weapon feels like, I mean, being candid, the weapon doesn't feel great until you start getting good at it. It's like if you can push and let go quick, it starts feeling great. Like when you first started, you sort of like aiming and trying to get right, and it's like early days. It feels a bit cumbersome, but then when you start getting good at it, and then oh no, honestly, when you start getting double and you can get both aimed at perfectly, and they can explode each other at the same time. I really wanted, again, there's always a little bit polished. I really wanted when two were flying to put an electric beam that connects them, and anything that touches the beam also hurts. Just haven't got around to that. Maybe I'll do. I'll try and work that out. But
new character.
Yeah, no, I just think it's a slight improvement to that character. It needs a bit of balancing, but I just think because it like at the most peak, doing 2 and getting your wall running and you're jumping and you're dashing right, it feels. I love it.
Yeah,
I don't really have it. Like for all the reasons you said, it's like it's a beautiful thing to watch people choose one and commit to it and love that one from then on. Right? None of them are bad.
No.
But objectively, you probably got a favourite, right? But none of them are bad. They all play because we've spent a lot of time trying to hone them in to feel good, right? So that, like again, a lot about feeling. They all feel good. They're all and they're different, and they look different. They behave different. But they all belong. They all belong in the same world, and that's cool.
If I'm going in for just a run or two and I want to win, I'm going Storm. I am.
Just easy. It's the lazy couch version. Well, it's not that easy.
Exactly.
I mean, on Legendary, Storm requires certain skills to just survive, right? But you can quickly dash out the way with the side dashes. So as long, again, how deep's that, right? I bet you've never thought bullets coming towards you and you have to do a side dash, right? But
I absolutely do all the time. In fact, when we were playing, I was like, "Oh yeah, I dash to the side." Do you mean blink? I'm like, "No, with Storm, I just and go sideways."
Storm's quite fast, and you can outrun the turrets, so you can actually go round the side of the turrets and hit the engines of the turrets to take them out instantly. Blink is as well, but the others are on. The Hunter can't get around the side quick enough. They can go over the top, but you've got to be a bit careful, and you've got to have the right trajectory there. Again, like Goliath's a little bit too slow to do that, but yeah, those other two characters really have a strategic position against turrets, and there are certain spots where you've got like a high. See. It's all right. but that's good. And I think on my perspective on some of the design things and the way they're designed there, but we still discover sub tactics that work, right? And as in a team, if you're communicating well with the team and you work together as a team, heroic is a joyous place to be. Again, heroic. If you want to play the game as we designed it, it's more challenging. You will fail sometimes, but it requires more teamwork, and that's cool.
Yeah, that's it. That is exactly the thing. It's perfectly playable single player, but if you can get a good team together, you are going to go a lot higher, a lot harder.
Multiplayer. I quite like playing it in single player. The music's cool. I really it. So I listen to the music while I'm playing, and I enjoy playing it on my own. I mean, it certainly requires some skill, mostly because of the things I said. Right, you can. There's a quick way of killing everything, and there's some tactics for almost every mob. Right, so as soon as you start learning those tactics, it becomes a different strategy game because you want to, Storm. You want to swing round to the left on a turret, then quickly swing round to the right and get behind it and just take the engine out. It's gone straight away. 2 shots in the engine, done. Right, it's like, but and that, and again, Storm specifically, the rail, the quickest way to take things out is to go under them and shoot behind you and get the back engine, right? So it's like this. And that's a whole different level of playing just on Storm, and all of them have got that sort of sweet thing going on.
Yeah,
it's like it's a very, very quick game to get going and extremely deep in terms of skill, but that's what makes it like you do feel like it's you. I really wanted it to feel. There are games where you sort of press a button and it jumps in the air, and then you press a kick button and it sort of dashes to the right and punches something. They're the games like to me, it feels disconnected. It can make you feel powerful, but it doesn't feel like you did it. You sort of slice at something and it sticks it on your stick, but it just never feels quite like it's you. I really, really wanted to make sure this game felt like every time you pulled something off, it was your skill that did it, but also fair and never feel like you've been robbed. Like you'll have done it 1,000 times by now, but if you fall off into the abyss because you missed your spot, you won't think, "Oh, that was stupid game."
I was wrong.
It's like I was wrong.
Yeah.
You'll think, "Oh, I accidentally missed it."
I flew too close to the sun, and this is what I get.
That moment where you run out stamina because you didn't time it right, and you fall into the abyss. You're like, even I do it today. I'm like, "Oh, God." But it's not too brutal. That falling into the abyss only takes like a quarter of a heart, so it's not like the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, right? You're like, okay, well, I only got mine, and it set you back a little bit. There are plenty of chapters. So. No, but back to the start of the thing. I'm incredibly proud of what we've made. I'm really proud of it, and a wonderful thing to be able to talk about it with you guys. And I'm glad you both like it as well. It's a lovely thing.
Yeah, but the credits they got me as well. I'm not even linked to it, but we're looking at the 3 robots. Do you remember that slide?
Yeah.
And I was like, Anyway, that's the show for today. We are 40 minutes longer than normal, and quite honestly, if you don't stop me, I'll keep going. So. John, thank you so much. Everybody, please go check out Titan Isles. The links will be any and everywhere and all over the place. Get them on the socials, Psytecgames.com/ look at it there. The artwork is as and oh boy, howdy, the world is in for a treat on Thursday.
Yep.
They really are.
Yep. So I'll make sure to on the VRverse Twitter, I'll put links on there probably tomorrow where you can go and wishlist it, but make sure to buy it as well as wishlisting it. It comes in useful.
There's a 10% discount on the Meta Store if you buy it before it's released. So
it's a bit of money before release.
Yeah.
Yep. So thanks again,
buy
John.
yourself some lobster.
I think everybody's probably waiting for the reviews though, so hopefully the reviews are good. Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah.
Crossing my fingers that people think it's good.